You're gonna have to. You're gonna have
that's
to.
a good one. I want to even think about that. Ready? Shut up, Reggie. You gotta shut up.
Yeah,
No, you gotta shut up right now.
yeah. But I'm
That's
just
gonna be
saying.
slide too.
Yeah, they made it up.
Let's say
Now you
cool
got to
up.
separate
Where's
spirit from
Jones?
humans. Does spirit operate without a human host?
Mm,
Ah,
mm, mm,
god damn.
mm.
You need a charismatic host.
Mhm.
Look, hey, say cool. Stop being technology challenged, man. Log in and get on the stream. I ain't ready to throw the link in yet because we got the study claims humans reached America 100,000 years ago. Early cowboys and Indians up. Because I was on Aboriginal Power show. Shout out to Aboriginal Power, yo. He treat me like a gentleman in the face of everybody trying to kill me.
Right.
They was all trying to get me, all 6, 7 of them, right? All 6, 7 of them. I like that type of. Remember, I created that type of environment. That's why I don't know, Juju. People can't handle that environment right there, yo. Like they don't know, yo. I actually fostered that.
Right.
Dive into an arena full of people who don't agree. I've been doing that forever because most people aren't atheists. So I've been in the middle of all that. That's my working ground right there. I know how to work that. I know how to put that together. I know how to get. I know how everybody gonna act just by the early responses. I know who the complete nut is in the group. That's the shooter. See, that's the shooter, right? I know who the nice guy is. We're gonna turn wild at the end of the day, right? I know who gonna be cool headed. I know who going, and everybody gonna try to use science now. All right, we got a special guest up here. Just the guy I will be beating down. Didn't you know? Say, cool. I'm not gonna take it easy on you, brother. You my brother, but now we in the midst of it. What's up there, Mr. Say Cool? Get that technology right. What's on your mind
Yes,
before
peace
we
and
start the show?
blessing. You know,
A BB 48.
I've been listening.
The beat to the
I
forte.
believe I don't see the way you will win because you are going to be using thought by proxy. You know what thought by proxy is?
What's that?
You are using the thought of other people. It's not original. It's not yours. You can trace it as a paradigm within your culture. You are just going to pick up materialist philosophers of Europe, and you are going to be using it to prove highly intellectual, and it's not going to fly. This is called materialism. What we are arguing, spirituality or science, what is going to help our people progress today? And I'm arguing, my argument is very easy because I'm arguing that both are necessary for progress. You are arguing that only one is necessary for progress. So what I'm going to be doing is to tell you that I'm not arguing against science. I'm arguing against the ideology called materialism that claims science for itself, because science does not belong to materialists. We're going to see where in history where atheists built a civilization. We want to see the atheist kingdom of Africa. We want to see the scientific contribution of atheists before the European materialists brought it to bear. And we will even look at the modern war, how it works. We will look at the statistics. Atheists versus people who have spiritual thought and also involved in science. We'll look at the statistics, who have done more and contributed more. Because the idea you are using is that a man having a spiritual thought or being a spiritual system somehow prevent him from excelling in science. You need to prove that. You need to prove how a man having a spiritual system will now cannot excel in science, as if science has the answer to all things of existence. It don't. I'm coming. Scientific method.
I just want to know what spirit is.
Let him finish, Reggie.
Reggie will not, because when the truth start hitting hard, that's how they're going to do. So here's that's the problem. Science has its method, and all we are doing in life is trying to understand what reality is searching for truth. And truth, there are truths that we know, there are truths that we will never know. They are truth. We will never know, no matter how science goes. We will never know why we exist, the meaning of life. Okay, you will never find it. People find meaning in life, so they go inward. They call it their spirituality. They find meaning to life. They do not contradict truth. They see truth as the authority in all things they do. That's why you don't find no African society kick against scientific invention. You don't see Kemet fighting against science because they are spiritual. But you try to compare it with religious belief, where someone said Muhammad went to heaven on a horse. So and now I'm studying physics, and I'm saying that's anti-science. Muhammad couldn't have gone on a horse to heaven. But when you look at spiritual stories, they are myth. And myth is African pedagogy. They use it in illustrating a point. That you've never find literal stories in all the story African people told. There is no Heru, literal Heru. There is no literal Asa. There is no literal Aset. These were allegory. But in the religion, nothing is allegorical. Everything is literal. And that literalism has contradicted science. So you will find it difficult to put spirituality against science. I don't see you doing it. You can't.
Tell you what, there, buddy. These questions and more will be answered at the debate. And I think I want to take away a couple things right now. You're not going to be able to use the word science. You're done. Get off that.
That's ideology.
Science does not include spirituality.
Ideology.
Science does not include spirituality. Science does not include religion. They're diabolically opposed to each other. You cannot mix them. You think you can mix them. See? Don't you say cool? Say it. Let me hear you say it. We can do both. We can mix them. Say it. Say cool.
No.
You can't mix them. Say cool.
You know.
So tap out.
Did you read that book?
No, if you admit that. If you admit it, then tap out. Say, you know what? You got me already. We don't got to do the debate. Can you mix them?
Mix in terms of what? Metal?
M-I-X. I'm saying, can you mix them? What
do you mean by mix? That's what I'm trying to
I don't know what else to say. What I'm saying is, I'm saying that when human beings separated they math from their spirituality, that's when they won. That's what I'm saying. You, on the other hand, think, hey, we got to keep doing it. We got to keep. That's what you think.
I said a person can be spiritual and scientific at the same time.
No.
I am not saying you are using scientific, spiritual method to investigate science. I said you can be scientific and spiritual at the same time.
I'm asking you a question. I'm saying we know a person can be a Christian, and be a priest and practice science. That's not up for debate there. What I'm asking you is, African spirituality, they mix their shit together. You do know that, right? They mix it together.
Say cool. Don't give them too much.
No, I'm not giving him too much.
Give me nothing.
They're mixing. That's where he got it wrong. He think the mixing mean they didn't know what they were doing.
Nah, don't tell him. Don't tell him. No.
Yeah.
Don't tell him
You
that.
don't even know.
Why are you jumping up in? There you go again. We say, ladies and gentlemen.
Look.
There you go.
Let him make that mistake in the battle.
I don't see any. I'm not worried. I watched a lot of Ang videos. I'm telling you, it's just rhetoric. It's just a repeat. Everything Ang said, I can trace each word back to European materialists. That's where all the quote come from. I can trace them to Dawkins. I can trace them. All these words they are using, they are taught by proxy. It's not like they are doing any kind of...
You're proxy. You're using Marxist Leninist philosophy.
Reggie, come on, Reggie.
How?
Can you stop that?
How? Is that Leninist philosophy is what African spirituality is?
You don't use Marx, do you? Don't come in there with that. Get the Russians away.
In what way? In what way did I use it? I don't
take it off your slide right now. Let me start taking pieces away from you. So I asked the question. I'm telling you, the Egyptians didn't separate their science from their religion. I'm telling you they did. They didn't. I'm telling you, them ancient societies couldn't get there. I'm telling you that. So whether you agree to that or not, which I think you do agree, you agree. You actually think you can do African spirituality and mixing them with your science. You think that. That's your whole smell. Now, so I've given you.
Egyptians saw that spirituality without science is blind. And science
thank you.
Is lame.
Hey, Reggie, we're going to clip this moment right here. Thank you.
Yeah,
bro.
Clip it.
That's a clip moment.
Without science is blind.
Science
told me to stop. So another
Son,
say
he don't want to
getting
listen
too
to you.
much.
Keep
So
talking.
we got the first slide, the first two slides in the debate, and we got a clip moment here.
And honestly speaking, like I will have some challenges debating evolution, what have you with you, but for this, I don't see there's nothing intimidating me because I know I'll take you to Kemet and lay it out. Because you yourself are saying, you are confessing that the ancient Egyptian mixed spirituality with science. Now, did that lead to progress or it led to retrogression? It led to
getting
progress.
their ass whipped.
They got their arms whipped.
Got their ass whipped.
After 3,000 years, what civilization did you build 3,000 years after that survived?
Right.
Hey,
Has
man.
America reached 3,000 years yet
No,
before
they
they got whooped in Afghanistan?
No, they didn't.
Oh, they didn't?
No, they
They
didn't.
got
You're
whooped
right.
in Somalia?
Yeah, Nubia, 3,000
no.
years. Good
And you
work.
got walked, and you got
What are
whipped
you
out of
saying?
Islam. And you got whipped out of Islam.
He's
No,
still a
you-
Muslim.
no.
You quit.
The question
You quit
is,
being a Muslim.
he said Egyptian mixed spirituality because we are thinking of making progress, right?
You stopped being a
Did
Muslim.
Egyptian make progress or they didn't make progress?
So you was fouling Diops being a Muslim, huh?
Diop was not a
Diops in this
Muslim.
conversation.
You cannot prove it.
It's gonna get ugly. If you mention Diop's name, it's gonna get ugly. Stay with me.
Diop was not a Muslim. I read Diop. Every word Diop had ever written, I read it.
He wasn't a Muslim.
He was not a Muslim.
Was he a socialist?
Look, I don't understand what you're asking now. Socialist. Diop never used the
that's
word.
the third slide.
You read the economic basis for a federated state. Did you find any socialism in there?
Of course.
We're just getting started.
He said in the beginning of the book, no matter how useful Marxist-Leninist theology, it doesn't necessarily apply to Africa, but he said it was very useful. Yes, he's a socialist.
So you just isn't that contradiction? You say he tell you that it's not applied.
You just haven't read it. I just told you where he says it in the beginning.
Yeah, something can be useful and doesn't apply to you. Isn't that fair?
Yeah, he found out that he didn't. He didn't.
Hey,
Yeah, you just want to call him socialist, and I tell you he's not, and you just confirm it.
Killing two birds with one
killing two bones. Hey, Reggie.
They can lie on Diop.
Right.
I got
I
you.
just told him the book and the introduction. I'm the one who cited it, and now he's flying away.
No, you said something. I said it's not true. Did he?
But Diop is not you. See, you got on Diop's bus at the first stop. Diop kept traveling through his life. You got off on the first stop. Why do you think? Watch this. Why do you think Theophilo Banga didn't name the book African Spirituality?
But he did
Why
talk
did
about
he name it African Philosophy?
Reggie, you gotta stop though, Reggie.
so spirituality is not philosophy.
Right, that's the point. You
Right.
right.
Not part of so there was Sophia, which meant wisdom.
Okay.
That's Greek. That's
No,
not African.
Yeah, but the word philosophy is what? Isn't that Greek? You can use it. I can use it.
Got him.
Wait, hold up. Wait, hold on. The difference is that
Reggie gonna mess you
African
up.
philosophy.
I know, Reggie. Why you want to debate him, Reggie? Why don't you debate him though?
No, I don't want to debate him.
I'm asking
That was
you,
fun.
are you saying spiritual idea we're not involved? I mean, we're not included in the body of knowledge called philosophy in the ancient time?
Don't
Yeah, I
use
think so.
Greek when
I
you
think
talk
so. Say cool. I would agree with you with that. Say cool. I say it was including everything, science and all that. That's my point. Say cool.
Even alchemists were called philosophers.
Okay.
What?
Even those who were doing so-called alchemists, you know the alchemists?
Alchemist?
You in
Yeah.
the wrong environment for all that.
Some
You in the
people-
wrong environment for all that. You in the wrong environment for all that. You in the wrong environment for.
Look, the word philosophy is a huge box. So don't use, if you want to use it in isolation,
Tell
you
Theophilo
can. It's a very broad term. It's a very broad term that included all body of knowledge at the beginning. Okay? It's today we have narrowed down the word philosophy. But when Obenga used it in that book, he was talking to mathematics, he was talking about physics, everything. And in that very book, I will tell you, spirituality was mentioned. And I will prove it to you in the debate.
You won't prove it to me because I ain't debating that. That's that man.
Yeah, he's not debating that. But
Slide on
where
that.
in
I
this book
dare you.
does it say that?
Because you thought Obenga didn't use spirituality in that book. He
You
did.
just gonna keep
In
going,
fact,
though,
in
Reggie.
the very
Reggie,
beginning
don't
of
keep
the
going.
book,
You can't
Obenga
stop, Reggie.
made a prayers to Diop. Did you read
Reggie,
that in the beginning of the book?
He makes a prayer to Diop. That's his personal
Oh, but it is in African philosophy book, right?
With you.
In the very one chapter, the very first chapter, he sent prayers to Diop, who died. Isn't that spirituality?
No, it's not.
I know the book from cover to cover, brother.
I know what spirituality means.
Y'all in over your head, Reggie. Say cool gonna take.
Y'all don't know what spirituality means. I hear you, Sa. Hey, Sa.
I don't listen to Reggie, yo. I don't listen. I got a period when I don't listen to nobody when I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right, and that's true about Unc. But check this out. Hey, Sonetta, I'm gonna redo my video. I'm gonna do my video on Zyquan, the gun-toting Bible person, right? I'm gonna redo my video on it. He forgot that he pulled up a gun with the Bible. He forgot that. Anyway, so I'll carry on. Sonetta, it's always good to see you. Say cool. Good to see you. You're gonna have to do your homework. You know what? Quoting people is not going to fly. Say cool. Quoting Brother Small is not going to fly. You're going to have to make the point by yourself.
All the books they're showing you, I got them.
You ain't ready? You can read some Metanetia? Oh, you illiterate.
What's that? What you got?
You illiterate with Metanetia, right?
What's that other book? I like the Diop's book.
What, African Origin Civilization?
The very first chapter, the prayers that he made to Diop. I want me to read it to you.
Yeah, read it to us.
Okay.
Yeah, read it.
Yeah, prove he was religious.
He said, in remembrance of Sheikh Anta Diop.
Yo, Unc, you see
your mother Newt welcome you in peace.
Yeah. I put it back on there. You ain't do it.
I was getting ready to, but you did it. Go ahead.
My man, yo, you got you always beat me up.
Obenga writing this book, Diop has died, I think, years later. So now he begins with the book. Your mother Newt welcome you in peace, embraces you each day. So may you live always, Osiris Diop. He's calling Diop Osiris now. May you live always, Osiris Diop, in the radiance of ever-living stars, watching and awaiting our coming. He's talking about Diop waiting for him in the afterlife. Now, when a highly intellectual man, a scientist, write this,
because he was
and you say, no, because he has this type of thought, he has this inner vision about higher meaning to life, therefore he cannot be scientific. That's your premise. That's your premise. I'm telling you, it's impossible. In African spirituality, scientists were the priests. The so-called priests you were calling in Kemet were scientists. And Obenga just proved it. In the very opening of the book of African spirituality, he makes a prayer to Diop. Isn't that clear to you?
Look at him. Well, look at his face. Yo thought he put it down. Ha, ain't that? Yo did like this. Ain't that clear? Yo,
no, you got to show in this book. Now you can't show it anymore. You are blocked.
You gonna talk them people to death in there, yo. Let me help you out here, bro. That's all religion to me, man. Not gonna let you trick the people and act like it's something different between the fact that man told me I'm gonna meet you somewhere after he dead is proof enough. I won right there. Only a believer gonna believe that. And not to mention, neither one of them was Egyptians. Neither one of them at all. I don't know how you making that lofty connection. Right. Like the hell with the rest of it. I love Africa to the point where I respect all the social, spiritual, cultural systems. So the fact that you're going to apply, right, Egypt to all of Africa is ridiculous and pseudo. We're going to prove that in.
Oh, now you are separating Egypt from Africa.
No. I'm saying I am separating. Hold on. I am separating the way they believed, right? Their technical belief, the way they was doing, they sanctiments, all that from other Africans. Each African has the mold to develop their own system.
So Egypt is not Africa now.
They don't need to be an Egyptian.
Egypt is not Africa now.
Okay, that's the game. Yeah, we hear you making that up. See, you can be African and develop your own African culture. You didn't know that? You didn't actually know that Africans developed different cultural systems. You didn't know that. You should know that. Everybody wasn't saying Nut. Everybody wasn't saying Asar. Asar is the great god on certain portions of the Nile, not even the whole Nile. You didn't know that? You're supposed to know that. That's a tidbit for you, right? Everybody had, I'm gonna be in that debate. I'm gonna prove that not even in the Nile Valley do they all have the same religion. You tripping, say cool. You're in trouble, say cool. You're in so much trouble right now. You don't even know you're in trouble.
Hey, say cool.
Come in that Egyptian philosophy if you want to. You better come with something else.
Metropolitan Museum of Art, right? In the ancient Egyptian section with all your spirituality and tell me what the hell is going on. You as illiterate, right?
Can you repeat the question?
Huh?
Can you repeat the question?
It was a statement. I'm inviting you with all of your spirituality to walk with me in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, right in the Egyptians area, right, in halls, and tells the people where you see spirituality.
Oh, there was no spirituality in Egypt?
No, I want you. See,
no, you tell me there's no spirituality in Egypt.
Wait. No, there's no spirituality in Egypt.
Ank, you agree with that?
What?
There was no spirituality in Egypt.
I can't say anything until after the debate, but there is no spirituality.
On one hand,
you talking to Reggie.
Reggie is saying there was no spirituality in Egypt.
Oh,
so everything
don't go to man. Talking to me.
You agree?
I will say you can see. You think you got me, but I know that if you walk into the Egyptian halls with me, you will be as illiterate as the French, the Spanish, the other British, the other Europeans. You will be illiterate and silly, right? If you walk in the museum with me, you will be.
And the French decipher it before you started reading it.
Wait. Oh, you said that?
Yeah, I said that because you were saying as illiterate as the British and the French, you put all of them in one box. So I'm saying they decipher it because.
No, I'm talking about those in the museum.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
He don't think they deciphered it. You think they deciphered it, right? Say cool. You understand?
They deciphered it. Not Champollion did some work. Other people did some work.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah, but not all French knew the Meta. Not all British, right? Thomas Young. Not all of them.
All African cannot read it. Reggie is one of the African who can read it. That's fine.
Right.
Yeah, so, most Africans can't read the Meta, yo. Most of them, 99% of them, 99.99% of Africans can't. 99.99.99.99 of the Africans can't read that shit. They can't even begin to start to practice it. So I don't know why you bring that.
I bring that because the person who writes this book can read it.
Right, and you can't. Put the book down.
How they going? Let me ask you this, say cool. You gotta read the translation, yo.
Reggie.
Hey, Reggie, you gonna come in there talking about African spirituality, gonna bring out the Egyptian shit. None of the Africans can read it, even practice it.
Put the book down.
Yeah, put the book down.
Hey, I'm gonna give you one answer. Look, don't bring that. Don't bring no Egyptian nothing in there. You don't do it.
Why?
Because nobody can read it, nigga.
And you can't read it.
It's translated.
How?
Look, page 29.
If Reggie translated is right, but if other scholar translated is wrong,
you can't read the Meta.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Y'all know what y'all gonna find out in this debate? That I'm actually more African than a continental African. That's what y'all gonna find out in the debate. That I got more diverse respect for the whole Africa and all they little different beliefs and twerks and ups and downs and mistakes and greatness and low points than he ever will. He gonna come in and talk about how great they was. I'm gonna come in there and just talk about the totality of the Africans.
Can I just say this one thing?
You gonna mess
when
up.
he read that prayer for Shekinah, when he read that prayer, you have to understand that his whole book is about transliterating ancient African thought. So the prayer that he read about you was born in noon it was just to supplement or complement his work, because on page 29 he says about I think it was Pepe, I was born in noon, before the sky came into being, before earth came into being, before that was established came into being, before the torment came into being. All he was doing was complimenting his elder Diop in the same way of the text. It meant nothing more than that. He was just taking deep African thought that, watch this, man-made.
No,
Man-made.
came down. Tell the truth, yo. The nature came down and gave him that, yo. Tell me, I want to hear you say it.
That's why you don't know what nature is. That's the problem.
I said the net. What's the nature? Neutral.
Because you think nature come down. Where? Where did you see that? That nature has come down.
How about Gab? Where Gab come from?
So you that's what I'm saying. You don't even understand the tradition. So you think Gab is literal?
I actually think the Egyptians were soft atheists.
Because you are thinking that atheists is believing the negative, because atheists are believers. They are believers in the negative.
Oh, that's
my religionists are believers in the positive.
You ever read the Harper's?
Yeah, as a
you
spirit.
You ever read the Harper's hymn?
What?
You ever read the Harper's hymn in ancient Egypt?
What is Harper's hymn? I don't know.
Okay, so you need to talk to Rob Bourne about it. But basically, the ancient Egyptians coined the phrase "live merrily," right? Live merrily, because you can't depend on the afterlife. You know that, right?
Yes. So what does that doesn't mean?
It means that they doubted the afterlife.
Say
I think yes, someone is speaking.
Yes,
say
boys come through. Shout out to Juju, pseudo killer. They don't want it.
Look, the problem is.
Hold on, somebody was talking. Come on.
I'm gonna let him finish. Go ahead and finish your point, sir.
Yeah, the problem is.
What's the problem?
I will explain to Ankh, because the way he picked up. Sometimes when we talk about paradigms and cultures, that's why it's very important. Because when we use other people's argument, just like the way we have feminism, and you pick it up and make it universal, then you rob black women who did not have the same experience as white women. You need to explain black women type of feminism differently, because their experience in history has been different. The same thing when we come to the issue of atheism and religion. How it played out in Europe and how it played out in Africa is not the same. In Europe, we have a religion that went against scientific ideas. There was war between science and religion. And we saw men being killed for bringing scientific idea that oppose some biblical idea. Let's say if I went to a kingdom and tell Muslims that Muhammad couldn't have gone to heaven on a winged horse, that is against physics, they're going to get me killed. But they are anti-science for saying that. But that's not how spirituality and religion in throughout history, that's not how it played out. We don't find people in Kenya being killed for bringing scientific idea, and they say it contradicts Asa or Amen, so we're going to kill you. Where do you find that? Oh, let's leave Egypt. People talk about Egypt a lot. Let's go into the continent. Bring all the spiritual ideas of the continent. Let's start with the Yoruba. Every deity in the Yoruba religion, it has three applications in their pedagogy, their way of teaching. One, you have the mythology, where you see them using symbolism to explain deeper ideas. That's the way they function. You can see that same deity function as a scientific idea. Ogun can be applied as a deity, can also be applied as an iron, can also have another application. That's the way they see things. They don't have a literal description of what happened after death. Everything is a mythological. So you can't use that to be using it as religion. You can be using spirituality and just paint a brush on it, just like the way religion functions in Europe. You are arguing now as a European atheist against religion. You are not arguing as an African critiquing spirituality. It's different.
Sehou, what's the definition of spirituality?
Religion.
Oh, sorry, Juju. Matter of fact, I'm going.
I have, as a human being, I believe spirituality is a natural thing. Everyone Whether you claim to be atheist right in front of us in the TV, you have the question of eternity or the meaning of existence. You struggle with it in life. And people go inward to find meaning for their life. That meaning doesn't necessarily have to contradict with reality that they find. Because even what we perceive as reality, we never understand it fully, and we will never understand it. Science has its limitation. So people go inward and find meaning for their life. They call it spirituality. It doesn't contradict their reality. When reality presents itself as truth, they accept it. That's why in every spiritual tradition, truth is the authority. There is no prophet in spirituality. You don't find a prophet writing a book that people follow, like Islam is. That what Jesus said is written in stone. That's not how spirituality works, because truth is the authority, not the authority being the truth.
All right. You know what you sound like?
Go ahead.
You sound like the Hebrews to be trying to put they damn
that's what
religion
I'm
in
saying.
science.
All you know is
sound just like I'm just for the record. So let me get this straight. I want to get this straight. So you saying that the Bible don't got no science in it? Say cool.
I thought I just spoke. Did I talk about Bible?
I'm asking you though. That's a question. Don't I heard you, but I want to ask a specific question. Does the Bible have science in it?
Bible, of course, written by humans. The Bible does have science in it.
Right.
But the fundamental,
So let me do this for you. Let me help you out.
Bible contradict many scientific principles.
Bible don't got no damn science in it. Let's get that straight. The story, no, it doesn't. Just like all that Egyptian thing and all that, trying to make the Yoruba scientific and all that. Why make them European? You would say that science is actually European. I'm talking about modern science, bro.
Never.
Okay, but I'm talking about modern science. What you talking about? You just said how materialism and how they use science and all that. So then why go back and use the word?
Use what word?
Science. Why not use some other shit? Use the Yoruba. Use
why
the E5.
Why do you think science belongs to you? Why do you think you have
monopoly? No. I'm saying, so why not just use that though? Science is
the word
science.
Science is recent. Do you know that the word science is recently used? It was
That's fine,
because
you got modern science, Copernicus and all of them.
The word is
right?
recent.
Hold on.
There was no word for science.
Hold on. I'm trying to tell you that what you think you about to say, you can get caught out there with that. Right? Now, I'm telling you that the progression, right? The foundation of what would later on become science, we all know this is safely fixed in ancient cultures. That they was working towards the goal. We like no one's denying that. But there was a certain point they just couldn't get to. There was a certain things they just could not get out of their own damn way. Simple as that. So listen, I don't know what you think. You one of them guys to say, I could probably actually hear you come in that debate and say that the greatest science ever produced, right, to this day is in ancient Africa. I could actually hear you saying that the Egyptians had better science than modern people did. I could actually hear you say that the Stone Age Africans had better science than they got right now. I could actually hear you saying that.
Well, the science they have now wouldn't have been possible without that science then. This science then stands on the shoulder of the foundation of the ancient
science. That ain't what I said, though.
Yeah. So, you want to treat it in isolation as if it popped up in a Big Bang. It didn't pop up in a Big Bang.
I didn't say that. You said what?
Modern science did not pop up in a Big Bang. It was a gradual process from the same ancient culture which you thought they were stuck. They were not stuck.
Science,
they had a paradigm for their science. You have a different paradigm now. The question I would be asking
how could that be?
The reason is because materialism has come in. That was the difference. Because you think we are better off now. And I'm saying, yes, we have made a lot of invention, but we are not necessarily better off as human beings. Because as today, we destroy the entire environment with our science. We have ever been closer to our own extermination than ever before. Is that progress?
Hey, say cool. No one's arguing that early humans started to lay the foundations, and it was a work in progress, bro. I'm saying is you can't hate on science like you hate on science because it makes no sense. Because like you said, it's a progression, bro. So you can't be mad. You only celebrating the starting stages of it but refuse to stage his ad for that, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that? Don't come in there with that. Don't do that, because I'm not going to do that. Right? I'm just not. But I know what you don't know. I know what put the brakes on the ship what they was doing. See, I understand what they was doing. And I understand what put the brakes on them. And you actually promote the brakes to our people. You're actually putting the brakes on our people intellectual information material between these two ears.
But that's the
because
problem.
You overemphasize. Listen, you overemphasize African spirituality as if human beings, period, didn't have it. That's what human beings do. We spooky. So Africans ain't had no more spirituality than nobody else.
No, that's
they all do the same thing.
No, it's not overemphasized, but you have to
do the same thing. They do the same thing.
We never propose that you have to use spiritual system for you to be able to deal with everything in life. Nobody have ever said that. We're saying that spirituality have its place in human life, in social development. Because when you are talking about a people developing, you say, what is good for our people? Our people have a number of problems. And in the debate, those problems you have to tell me. And we have to now see how those problems get solved. Because science, of course, solves a lot of problems. But just because people have science, all their problems solved? No, they have suicide. No, they have drug problems. They have killed. They have a lot of problems that can threaten even their very existence. So science didn't solve all their problems. They have other human problems. They have other problems that need to be solved because the well-being of a human being is on different layers. That's what we're telling you.
So let me ask you this. If you had to choose a psychiatrist for a person who's suicidal or African spirituality, what would you choose, Sehou?
Psychiatry is a discipline and it has its limitation.
I just asked you a question, Sehou. Yeah, don't play the flim-flam. That's a question.
A tricky question.
That's a tricky question.
Yeah, because you think psychiatrists solve all human mental problems. No, I did social service and I did a course in mental health. Psychiatrists is a clinical psychiatrist. They deal with people with certain type of mental illness, but they have not even struck the surface of mental illness.
But African spirituality has?
Yes, spiritual. You will find the statistics.
No, Sehou.
Spirituality.
This is what I'm not going to do.
It can be categorized under positive psychology.
Hey, listen. This is what I'm not going to do.
Positive psychology is very useful in mental health.
I'm going to always ask you. If you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. If I don't know the answer, I'm saying I don't know. I ask you a question.
You are putting things against each other, and I'm not putting them against each other. That's the problem.
I'm asking you which one you're going to use.
Your question is based on Cartesian philosophy. Is it
white
or
you're
is
use
black?
Both. Why don't you say you're going to use both?
And I'm saying it can be black, it can be white. You are saying it must either be black or it is white. That's your philosophy.
You ain't going to answer the question.
Why did you put psychiatry against spirituality?
Because I said,
why do you think they're different?
If you got a human being that has tried to commit suicide, right? I'm asking you, what do you introduce to them? Do you introduce a psychiatrist, or do you introduce a voodoo doctor or voodoo priest, right? Or do you give them both? I'm asking you. I'm just asking you. You scared to give me the answer?
All right.
Jesus Christ.
I believe it is not the way you presented the problem.
How you want me to present it? Ask it the way you want me to present it.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to be answering. I believe that a person who grew up in a very, an African tradition or spirituality that's taught about the meaning of life will not contemplate suicide, because the positive psychology has already programmed you not to take your own life, no matter how difficulty of life.
What?
So if you are initiated in African spirituality, you cannot contemplate suicide based on your orientation.
Let me write that down, nigga.
Write it down. If you are grounded in it,
now y'all see why he gonna get beat up, because that's you hear him, right? That's why a lot of black people don't like going to the psychiatrist now, because of old, outdated understanding of stuff down there. That's the problem, though. Sehou.
Right.
See, that's why I'm here to say.
I see atheists don't commit suicide.
African American, don't listen to that. If you have a problem Or you have a child or something just threatening suicide or mark themselves up, take their ass to a psychiatrist. Do not take them to an E5 practitioner to throw some damn bones and fix them. Don't do it. That's some shit from the Middle Ages in Europe. They was trying that. Say,
you are getting the
matter
answer
of fact,
wrong.
Matter of fact, don't come in here with that.
You will not even get to that point if you were properly.
Yeah, you made that. Say, cool. Are you serious? Say, cool.
Yes.
So you mean to tell me you let me find a crack in your whole foundation right now in this conversation? We're gonna clip this up. Say, cool. You gonna have to stand on this.
Anything you want to clip.
What's
because
the moment?
Everything in human life is all. That's what all the initiation processes in spirituality.
Psychiatry.
The human being needs to be taught about the meaning of life.
We wouldn't have to
value. He needs to value his life. First of all, he needs to value his existence. That's very important.
We're gonna stop.
What leads to mental illness?
Juju, go ahead, sis.
What leads to suicide is meaninglessness. Most suicide in America, and do you know why? Because their life become meaningless.
You made that up. You just made that up. You made that up.
I'm telling you, I'm going to show you.
You're going to show me this more. I'm going to show you a system that can't even count the why people die.
Meaninglessness in life. Life lost meaning.
Where you at, Juju?
People commit suicide.
Right here.
When people go on substance abuse, they are trying to find.
So you saying ain't no substance abuse in Africa, yo, because of the practitioners, yo?
Now, this is not Africa versus America. Now you started the propaganda. That's
well,
not
I'm
what
asking you. Do people have substance abuse in Africa?
It is not about Africa versus America.
Well, what is it
Don't
about?
Use the Africans,
do you have people that practice the African spiritual system and suicide rates,
not everybody
drug addiction, out of their mind, mistreatment of black women? Do they have these things going down, bro?
Of the people, you
flim-flamming against America. Now we with it, brother. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I got him. Just so y'all know, now I figure I got him. I was just
when I use the word African,
which way do I want to beat this man up? Which hand do I want to use?
Most
do I
people
want to use my left hand, my right hand? What I want? Now I see. Say cool. That's what I'm gonna get you at.
Most
That's
people
gonna be my second round. Say cool. My second round will be titled
most people in Africa
African spirituality,
are Muslims or Christian. So stop using the game of saying I'm preaching for Africa and you are preaching for African American.
You say most what? Say it again. You said what? No, you said what? Most Africans is what now?
Play the game of me against you.
This man just say that most of Africa practice Islam and Christianity.
I'm not letting you.
Did you
play
say
the
that?
Game of
Juju, did that man say that?
African American. That's
Juju,
what you want to play.
Juju, where you at, Juju?
It's your game because when you do that,
no,
then you win the sympathy of the people.
No,
that's what you want to do.
No, I'm not. Did you?
This conversation is about black people in general.
I'm asking
when I use the word African, I'm referring to all of African descent.
No, okay,
so don't play the game of continental Africa.
I'm saying, did you say most of Africa practice Islam and Christianity?
Yeah, because you said Africans don't have mental illness because they are.
I know that. I know they do.
Africans on the continent today, majority of them practice religion, which is
so that's why they got
Christianity.
Oh, okay.
So their cultural view is not African spirituality, not because they are on the continent, so they are tuned to African spirituality. No. So
that's crazy.
I got my question real quick, Sehou. Thank you. You said it a long time ago, but you spoke on atheism and you said that atheists look for the negative. Can you repeat that? Because
atheism is a belief in the negative, while religion is a belief in the positive.
I have to disagree with that, though. So it's kind of like you're saying that atheist doesn't have the ability to have a moral compass.
Well, what I just said, you should ask me what it means. I didn't use the word moral there. I said atheism is a belief in the negative. Religion is a belief in the positive. You ask me to explain, I can.
I understand that, but that has me thinking with that definition that you are coming to the conclusion that atheists cannot have a moral compass.
You ain't say that.
I didn't say that either. I said
right. That's why you would lose. If we can figure out a moral compass without any type of spirituality, then why the hell we need that then? If that's
I said atheists are believers in the negative. Now what that means
negative is, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to ask. Now, the religionists believe that there is a God, anthropomorphic God in heaven, who is willing to judge them and give them everything they want. They said they don't have evidence, but they believe it. They they are what they use to kind of justify their belief is their faith. That's all. The atheist said there is nothing after this death. Everything here is just this world. And the atheist has not died before to come. So he doesn't have evidence either about what happened to him when he died, but he believed in the negative already. A spiritual person, I say I don't know, but I use my inner vision to be able to create speculative philosophy, but I don't know for certain what happened.
You use your
but
what?
Ant knows. Ant know what happened because he said nothing. That's a belief in the negative without evidence as well. That's what
All right,
atheism
man. I'm
is.
just saying ain't nobody ever came back. That's all I'm saying, bro. Ain't nobody came back to tell it. And then the thing that make it wow is
Yeah, but that's not an evidence, though.
I ain't cut you off. I'm saying as we traverse around the world, we see everybody got different ideas of how they gonna die, yo. So obviously we don't know one way or the other, but what we do know, when your ass is dead, you're dead. See, science can prove that you're dead and you're dying, and dead and dying don't come back. You only come back through the mythology, bro.
You never died and know what that is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they know. Yeah, no one is in the history of humanity. Nobody has ever came back, not unless it was outside of mythology.
And explain what that is. So you believe in the negative.
No, no. Believe in the negative.
So what's negative about
what are you
that?
talking about?
The negative about that is to negate the fact that after materialism, that's all. That's where everything ends.
So
and this person does not have the whole
negate. Does not negative.
Okay.
No, that's just
after material, after matter. Yes, we're saying that after. What I'm saying is, you can go all the way to the quantum world. What are you saying? Like, really? Is that the game? Don't come in there with that.
No, are you a believer, Sehou?
Where can I listen to the sister? Let me be.
Are you a believer, Sehou?
No, I'm not a believer.
No, you don't believe it.
So you're atheist?
Never. There's no atheism in my country.
Okay.
In your
so
country,
you don't believe God can save you?
What about your country, Canada, or your country in Africa?
What do you mean? What did you say?
What country are you speaking on? Your country, Canada, or your country in Africa?
Where I'm speaking from or where I'm speaking on? What do you mean? I don't know.
You said in my country.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. I hold Liberian citizenship.
So, okay. All right. So you're not speaking on the whole of Africa. You're just speaking for Liberia, correct?
I don't know. What's the question, sis? I don't really get it.
Okay. So I'll move on. What do you think?
No, I didn't get that where you were linking the question to the country.
You said in my country. So I was trying to understand.
In my country, what? Because I don't remember what I said.
I don't either. So
yeah, I don't just want to agree to because I have question. I don't know what did I say about my country.
I asked you, were you a believer, and you said no. Then
I'm not a believer.
Then I asked you, were you an atheist, and you said absolutely not.
No, it's not part of my cultural worldview. We don't have atheism.
Okay. So, but you said my country. That's not in my country. So
I said my culture.
Okay, in your culture.
The countries in Africa were created recently. They do not constitute a culture. The culture was spread all over the continent. There was no Liberia before 1847.
Understood. I'm very aware.
Spread all over the continent of Africa. Do you know how big Africa is?
I know how big it has become from there.
Another question I have for you is, how do you feel about African fractals and the binary code? And do you think that group of Africans believed or understood the ramifications of those scientific inquiries?
Come again, the binary codes.
And African fractals, are you familiar with any of those?
You mean the IFA binary codes?
Absolutely.
Yes. So I have not studied it yet, but I did read a few books about it. I didn't go in-depth study. But what I do know about some of these spiritual traditions that I've studied a little bit around Africa, they were the names we use today: science, spirituality. Those type of words, we use them now to separate stuff. Just like the way philosophy used to incorporate all knowledge, but eventually they separate all of them and then make ontology and begin to separate knowledge. So in the ancient time, or even the African way, the way they were seeing things, for them it was about understanding life and making meaning out of it.
That's science.
Okay. It's understanding life and making meaning out of it. On one hand, they know there are things they can know. which is the material world, what they see. I see my environment. I see water. I feel air. I know I have to survive. So the survival instincts definitely make me to study my environment, what I need to eat, what I need to. Those are scientific. You find that in every culture. People either is a little bit not advanced. Some people are more advanced than the other, but you will find scientific element in every culture, down to the Limbombo bones. But also there's an aspect of life, the aspect of meaning, suffering, dying, essence, love, and many other things about life, which they go within to find answers, because the material don't necessarily give them the meaning why they need to even exist in the first place. So now you go inward to find meaning. And those meaning are not scientific, and they are not necessarily binding to say, if I find truth in science, I have to fight against it. That's not how the spiritual idea or spiritual system works. It doesn't kick against scientific development. It doesn't kick against scientific idea. That's why you don't find anywhere in African culture that someone come up with a scientific innovation. The spiritual people say, no, it's against our God. That's not how it works. Only religion does that, because religion is founded on dogma. And those dogma claim to know all of reality, and those reality they claim to know, when you put them to test, it's not true. But spirituality is more than enough. It sees that reality needs to be studied as is. And also there are things we will never understand. So people go inward and find meaning. That's what I show you this book from the beginning. When Obenga make a prayer to Diop. Obenga can't tell you for sure he knows Diop is in the stars. But for sure he can also tell you that Diop is not there, which the atheists will do. But he create meaning for himself. That doesn't constitute spiritual thesis. Scientific thesis to be argued against scientists. No, that's not how it works. The science is very based on empiricism. I have to look at it and study it, and it has limitation. I don't know what happened before Big Bang. That's the fact. If I like, I can run my mouth and try to talk about quantum. At the end, I will get to a point where I will say, I don't know. That's the modest of all good scientists. I don't know. So spirituality is to find meaning for yourself, to giving meaning to your existence. It doesn't contradict science.
It doesn't.
Yo said, do you know how long the Big Bang was? That's forever, yo. So you think we worried about forever?
What is forever?
13.2 billion years is forever, dog.
It's not forever. You counted it already. Once you put number on it,
13.2 billion years is forever.
13 billion years is not forever. Forever
4
means
million
infinity.
years is forever to the human being. 13.2 billion years is forever, dog. Ain't nobody worried about after that.
That word forever used there is philosophical.
Man, that's forever.
13.2
billion years is forever.
You are scientists. Don't use the word forever like that.
It's forever, dog. Trust me. You tripping. No,
once you put a number on
13.
it, that means it's no longer infinity. Infinity got no number.
Oh, man. What's up, Miss Tiff? Pseudo Killer Official. Juju, we got him on air.
I don't know. He didn't really answer my question, though.
He wasn't. How
what was the question?
Sis? The 13.2 billion years is last week.
About did those Africans understood African fractals of binary code and their scientific, importance in them? Like, you didn't answer that. But
I just tell you, I said yes. They do. They did know, of course. They were doing both science, and by the same time they had their spirituality. What else would they do it if they didn't know? But the name you put on the science today, trying to distinguish from everything else. That's not how, even the word science was just invented at the 20th century or 19th century, it was used. It wasn't used all the time. So yes, they did know that it was science because they were counting.
You're gonna make me do it.
And science, the foundation of science is math.
Math is a tool of science.
What?
What?
You say any damn thing.
I said math is the foundation of science.
You're just in trouble. Say, cool, get it straight.
Math is a tool of science.
Yeah, where you get that from?
It's not a
math is actually proof. See? Right? Science works in approximates. Get your game up, yo. Take your time.
You cannot do science without math. What are you saying, Unc? What are you talking about?
How you doing, Mr. Tiff? You want to ask the witness something? Because he's a witness. He's definitely
You
on the
guys finding
witness
philosophical meaning
program.
for science now?
It's funny.
Huh?
Yeah, I do. I had a question. You talked about belief, and I just want to understand. You said you're not a believer.
No.
So, what is your definition of belief, of a believer? What is a believer?
So a believer is someone who have faith based on dogma given to them by an institution or a person. So a prophet have a dream, or a man, Muhammad have a revelation in the mountain, or Paul apostle met somebody on the road. So a faith based on dogma is belief. But for me to have the oceanic feeling, to understand, to question the meaning of my life and try to put spirituality to it, it's not based on dogma. It's naturally in me. I don't need Muhammad for that.
When you say it's naturally in you, do you mean that you were born with it?
Yeah, the spiritual function. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, meaning that it's born in you, as opposed to, because there's so many different spirituality systems on the planet. So you're saying that that particular system of spirituality was, when you were born, it was embedded in your DNA.
Yeah, I'm saying the act of spirituality is naturally born into everyone. Even if someone who have never met me or have never read any spiritual book, born on an island or somewhere, they will have a spiritual question. Who am I? Why am I here? Why do I live? And they will find inner vision to supply answers, to give meaning to their life. Every human.
Right. So the things that we use to give meaning to our life is filtered through particular spiritual systems, is what you're saying. I want to make sure.
Yeah. So those meaning that we give our life now, it has to be conformed with reality. It should not contradict the reality that we are looking at. When there is a contradiction with reality, then we know, oh, somehow maybe we are trying. We didn't properly process the other information, because life is a continuous seeking. Once you lock the door and say, I know it all now, then that's when you start making a mistake. So spirituality is continuously having that inner vision of finding meaning to life. But whenever you find that what you have had as inner vision doesn't tally with the reality, then you update yourself. But it doesn't mean you should scrap it up and be a materialist, because materialism does not always give all answer to everything in life as well.
All right, I have one last question to just kind of round this off. So you're saying that to be a believer is to be fed a particular dogma, and by doing so, that makes you a believer. But to be a spiritualist or a person who practices spirituality is something that you're innately born with. But my thing is, let's say we all can agree to that, but you still have to have a specific system that you quote unquote kind of plug into. I'll use the term plug into as opposed to something else. And that means we all can plug into a different system. So at that point, it doesn't become, it's a practice, but it's not a belief.
Right. So everybody, first, the spirituality is an inner vision, but then culture and traditions discover that many people have different inner vision about giving meaning to their life. So cultures and traditions create institutions to allow people to explore that part of their life. That's what spiritual institutions were supposed to do, to allow people to come explore that aspect of their existence and then share with each other, and people begin to grow as a society. It's a social thing. But now when it becomes a doctrine, if you don't do this, then we're going to do this to you, it's no longer spirituality.
So before the religions like Muslim and Christianity was on the continent, did people fight? Did different cultures in Africa fight, but they all had different spiritual practices? And because to me, it sounds like belief, but I'm not trying to.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
yeah, but on the continent,
if my spiritual system is this and your spiritual system is that, and I feel like my spiritual system is better, then wouldn't we still go to war?
There has never been an example of any African kingdom going to war in the name of African spirituality. Not one.
Not African spirituality, but because people believe people have
It
different
started with
practices.
religion.
People have
We
different
only
practices.
saw it with Islam and Christianity. Before that, you can't show me one.
Oh, it was all peaceful before Islam and Christianity.
No, people fought for different things. They fought for money, they fought for land,
Okay.
but it was never about their spiritual vision.
Okay.
The meaning of life, as I know it, is to procreate and reproduce and continue on.
Yes, that's materialistic. That's fine.
That's materialistic.
Yes. You never know why, and you never know. It was not that we came bomb from the start and started procreating. There were a lot of processes led to that.
So kind of like your ideology is that like we are special.
Everything is special. The trees, the water, the air, they're all special.
But white people. Everything's special but white people.
Are you advocates of white people?
Let me say this real quick.
Are you an advocate for white people?
Yeah, I'm an advocate for them. I'm an advocate for human beings all day. Let me say this real quick. Are you serious right now? I sit back and listen to you, blim, 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 bam, boom, for 35 minutes. You gonna come in there with that? Man, change your fight plan up, yo. Let me tell you something, man. Do you realize you just said that Africans did not fight over spirituality? They fought over other shit. Who cares? They fought and killed each other. Well, I tell you what didn't happen. The spirituality didn't stop them from killing each other, though, did it? So you end up in the same space as everybody else.
What does that even mean?
You
said nothing. You just use words and you actually says nothing at the end. So spirituality didn't stop them. Was it supposed? What's the question really? She only asked me if they were fighting in the name of their spirituality, and I said no. They say it didn't stop them. I don't understand.
It don't matter if you're killing a dude. I killed them over Jesus Christ. I killed him because he owed some money.
Right. So
it make a difference, yo. Is you
system,
serious right now?
Right,
yeah. So why are you connecting that with spirituality?
But spiritual systems are tied to morality. So the spiritual system didn't stop them from whatever.
Yeah, it's attached to morality, but it's not. There's morality in it, but it's not necessarily all about morality. But morality does contain spirituality. Yes. So what are you saying then? I don't understand what the discussion is.
I'm gonna say it again.
That because they were spiritual, they shouldn't have fought for their land.
No, you heard me. What I said was you said.
Let me mute out.
No, go ahead.
I just wonder why would they have to fight over their land if everyone is practicing happily with their spirituality, being at peace? Why would they even have to invade one another? I don't understand that.
You in trouble.
Because they have the most morality, and to be anything else is to be negative.
So who told you? Because when somebody is spiritual, they do not fight. Who gave you that? You made it up.
No, we didn't make it up. We're just trying to.
At what point did I tell you in the discussion because they were spiritual, therefore they will not fight? Where did you get it from?
Because
I got it from
the assumption that the spirituality piece is much better for us versus something else, and there has
nobody
to be
says
that, so it's not better.
Nobody said it versus something else. We said,
okay, I thought that was the debate: science versus spirituality, which was good for us. So.
Right, and I'm arguing that throughout our history, both have been good for us, and it's still do today. Nobody's saying that you have to throw away science. That's even against Africa, because all the astronomical calendar, when we start seeing, we will see scientific ideas, and when we see spirituality as well. Even today, some of the greatest modern states.
Hold on, what you say?
You go to. Have you ever been to Japan or some of the Asian countries?
Man, you should probably learn.
You find temples everywhere, but they are some of the greatest scientists in the world.
What is your point?
The point is clear. You can be scientists and be spiritual as well. And I never said
whoever said you couldn't be a Muslim and a Christian, and
therefore he cannot fight.
And who has ever said? No, that's not the point. You made a point that they never. And you know, whenever you use absolutes, you're dead. I only got to find one. You know, it's one. Somebody somewhere in Africa say, "I don't like that nigga because he don't believe my God. I'm gonna kill him." You know, it's one. See, you just
never show me one in the name of religion, in the name of African spirituality.
I've been very patient.
A kingdom fought, and in the name of African spirituality.
You see how spiritual you are? You so spiritual, you over talking. You didn't talk yourself into a tizzy. You funny. What I'm telling you is, you sat here and tried to convince the audience that the African spirituality was so profound that they never fought over that. They might kill a nigga over a piece of bread, though, but they ain't gonna fight over their God. But I killed them because we had more bread and we took it and killed them. I'm trying to say, dog, what are you talking about right now? Like, that doesn't register to those who aren't spooked out. We like, dying is dying, bro. Whether you died over an argument over Jesus' price or you died over an argument over $10, it's death. I can't even believe you making that distinction. African people, last time I checked,
a question.
robbed, murdered, and killed human beings just like everybody else, bro. So all that, whatever, if you think that their spirituality gave them an advantage, then that's your belief. You got to prove it. See, so that's why we say African spirituality versus science.
So atheism will make us live better, right?
I've never said none of that. No,
so
I've never met atheism has nothing to do with science, though. So why is it that because I promote science,
no, because
Miss Tiffany's not an atheist, right?
You are claiming science.
I'm not claiming that science is some kind of way. Science.
So if you are not arguing atheism, then what is your issue? Because I'm saying
I'm arguing science against spirituality, and the two cradle theory is what I'm arguing.
Yeah, the attack on the spirituality is based on your atheism.
No, my attack on the spirituality shit just got stupid for a while, and it got us beat up. That's my attack, bro. We can see it. See, one thing. Let me just say this. One thing we can say.
Atheism.
Let me talk. What I'm saying is, as we sit back and watch this movie that has already played, yo, this shit not looking good. See, you got to make up a whole movie. You got to convince the audience of the flim, flam, Buddha. All of a sudden, they floated across this motherfucker. And the great white man won because we decided to let them win. That's what you got to prove them.
So the problem is we versus white man. As I get your problem. But now let me explain that.
White man.
Yeah, for you, it's about white men won the war and we lost. That's what the spiritual.
Won the war is about the issue. Winning the war, nigga.
Yeah, you think
to win the war.
The white man won because he was not spiritual.
Boy, we had the most spirituality, but we lost that motherfucker, our kids in slavery and that. But we got our God.
The white man has never dropped spirituality. What are you saying?
I never said they did.
Yeah,
I said they separated from their science.
We had spirituality.
They were spiritual as well. Science, don't say cool. That's the difference. That's the primary difference.
Yeah, but there was a woman that didn't have the science. We had the science institution as well. What are you saying?
Man, you had what you had.
Civilization rises and falls. America will fall one day. There will be a time there will be no America. It wouldn't be because they were atheists.
Now we got to fight on no America. What does that mean for us?
America will fall. It's just 300 years old. It's already falling. I'm just telling you.
Now you're a prophet of economics. They've already fallen. That's why you live in Canada.
You're already fallen. You don't know that, then I'm sorry. But I can tell you, America has already lost our influence in the war and all the power it used to have. If you don't know that, you should go back on the drawing table. But I'm telling you, civilization rises and falls. The Britain that you look at, what's the they were like they said that the sun never set on the British Empire. They were the rulers of the world. Today Britain is nowhere.
We're not arguing that say cool.
Yeah, so don't say because people got defeated in a war, you said because they had spirituality. That's a very bad argument.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You just said that.
I'm just saying that their spirituality was better. They came in the sign of Jesus Christ.
People who are signed are not defeated in war.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ definitely had a better idea. They definitely, hey man, it's gonna get ugly in there, man. Listen, man. I'm trying to tell you, the Jew.
I know nothing about Jesus. I'm talking about African spirituality.
No, I'm talking about Jesus
saying to you, the Soviet Union was atheist. What happened to it?
Nothing. They still in their same spot.
The Soviet Union is still there,
and they're excusing all of Africa's debt.
and the most spiritual Africa getting money from them. Why would people more spiritual than anybody in the world need any money from anybody? Make it rain.
You guys are running from the argument. The Soviet Union was atheist and scientific. What happened to them?
Nothing.
The Soviet Union was broken up into pieces.
Because of what? It's called democracy.
It's
That's what it's called.
Soviet Union were not democratic.
That's why they
There was
I'm
no
telling you, yo.
democracy in the Soviet Union.
Ah,
The Soviet
man.
Union were atheists who said that
what's
materialism
funny?
and science is the only way to progress. They got broken into pieces.
Nah,
they keep
that's
on
not
destroyed.
You know what's
Afghanistan,
beautiful about this?
all these other countries broke away out of the Soviet Union. It reduced into what a little Russia that you have now.
Little Russia still banging.
And Russia embraced, they went back to Orthodox Christianity. You didn't know that?
Man, I don't even know what you're talking about. Listen,
Oh, you
know
don't
what?
know.
You know what's lovely about this conversation,
You don't
though,
know.
Mr.
So
Sehou?
your atheist and
Hold on,
materialist
Mr.
has
Sehou, hold
never
on for a
saved
minute.
any nation.
Hold on for a minute. I don't know what you think you're talking about, but you know what's lovely about this conversation, though? You sitting here trying to tell us about a movie that we done all watched, and the movie was so profound that we got we right here. You where you at, and I'm where I'm at because of the movie. So we know how the movie was. We know how we got here. We get it. And we understand that. And I'm not knocking Africa, right, for having one of the world's oldest cultures, bro. Right? They still got remnants of indigenous people, right? There are a few groups of hunter-gatherers still left, but they're fading down the stretch with that. See, the problem you're going to have in that debate is, why aren't they sticking to what you're considering African spirituality? If you got the damn answer, take that back to them. Go back, because we're over here, like we'll practice different religions. We do all that. We be a Hebrew one day, be a Native American, practice E5. We'll do all that. We do that. But at the end of the day, yo, we know. We really know. Even the Christian
really
will go to church
what your argument is
on Sunday and end up on work on Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we know how to set, we know the boundaries of that.
I think what you are trying to say, the elephant in the room that you don't want to address, I think
I want to address it.
The elephant in the room is that you want to say is because Africans were primitive, that's why they were defeated. And the European was scientifically advanced, and the African was primitive in spirituality. That's why you got defeated. Is that your argument?
No, as a matter of fact, I felt like Africa had the prime high level spirituality.
They got defeated because they were spiritual people. Okay.
They got defeated because they couldn't actually separate the two. That's what actually happened. They kind of got in their own way. They was thinking that they had something they really didn't have, and the rest of the world passed them by. That's actually why. Now, hold on, let me make this point. No. Hold on. You talk about being primitive.
Yeah.
All civilizations, mankind starts off what they would consider to be primitive. I mean, in a state of in a state of just being mesh, right? In the raw, naked. Human beings start off naked, bro. Based off what you're saying, you prefer us to go back to be naked. Which part of the technology would you rather us leave? And hold on. Which part of the technology would you rather us leave? I'm just asking you.
No.
Like, which part? Because last time I checked, Homo sapiens sapiens was naked in the raw, bro.
Right.
Simple as that.
Now,
right? And that's okay. Hold on. So to be primitive, it's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the human experience.
Okay.
Now, if you would ask me right or wrong, there's no right and wrong in that. It's just the ability for you to invent clothes, right? It's the ability to even need clothes. Africa, especially near the equators, are very hot. Why would you even need clothes? So that don't make them less thinking. They're just as intelligent. Homo sapiens sapiens just as intelligent today as they was back then. There's no that like Charles Darwin verifies and proves that. So primitive ain't a bad word. It just simply means you like your starting point. That's what we were starting at in humanity. We was nature in a raw. We interacted with the animals, right? We interacted with everything.
We got
farming yet. As soon as you start getting farming,
period,
let me finish, bro. Just let me finish. I'm simply saying that you're gonna come in this debate and make primitive a negative thing. I'm going to come into the debate and say that's just part of our experience as Homo sapiens sapiens, bro. Yeah. It's not bad or good. But when you run across a group of people, right, who are highly mechanized, right?
Yeah, we will find the meaning of the word where you got it from.
Hold on. Highly valuable, right? You're going to have a problem with it. That's all. And first of all, Europeans didn't even conquer Africa. You act like they conquered Africa. They didn't actually do that, right? They didn't. Certain parts they did. For the most part, they did not conquer Africa like that, right? So we don't got to get into the nasty spiel of being in West Africa, being here and there. We don't got to talk about people forging alliances with different Europeans, right, to go ahead and fight against their own brothers, because we know they wasn't even their own brothers. They never seen it the way you seen it. See, you got a brand new way of seeing it. And I'm telling you, the Africans on the continent of Africa wouldn't give 3 flying flips about another nation they've been fighting with for since they ever known each other. They didn't even know themselves to be brothers. That's something new. That's an African-American idea, by the way, to make all Africans the same. They're different groups, different phenotypes, different complexions, right? Different cultural expressions and experiences, right? Some were warring against each other for eons. Some were friendly tribes. It's the same way with the Europeans, with the Brits, with the Gulfs. You know what I'm saying? With the Spaniards, they didn't know they was genetically tied to each other. This science doesn't come to later on. I mean, they fought against each other like hell. Same way they did in Africa. But you want to make us think they was floating in Africa like this. That's what you want us to believe. That's not true. See, you make Africa a not real place. That's what you're doing.
Well, Hank, I don't know. I think you have a very difficult. The only thing you will need to do is to be convincing people, like what you are doing right now, to show that the only way we want to win the war, the only way we have to defeat white people is we have to drop spirituality down, and then we have to pick up. So the question you will be answering is whether the people who were defeating at the point of defeating, or whether they were spiritual too or not. That's where you have to answer.
Yeah, the Christians were
the Muslims. No, wait, I let you speak.
Oh, yeah.
The Muslim came in.
But let me speak the whole context.
No, I let you. You just finished. The Muslim came in, and they conquered the whole of you. They conquered all of Africa, and they went even into Europe, and they were Muslims, and they were even dogmatic, and they were even believers for that matter, and they conquered Spain, and they conquered what you will be the Europe that you are putting on a platter of gold right now. They captured them. Okay,
you're gonna get beat.
They even refer the European back to the writings of Plato and all these people before the European even waked up. It was done by religious people. Now, the spiritual people that you are trying to present as if, oh, Africans are caught in there if they have science, and to some point then they will be able to liberate themselves. I don't know where the argument is, because nobody is arguing that we don't need to advance in science. But you are saying that we must drop spirituality in order for us to make progress in science. And I said that makes no sense, because that's our culture. It's part of our cultural heritage. It has never hindered scientific progress. Just because we got defeated after 14th century European Renaissance doesn't mean that Europeans were always defeating us. Europeans could not even get into Egypt for centuries. The Greeks could not come into Egypt until Cambyses destroyed Egypt. They couldn't even come in. The Greeks could not even come in. So you can't say, yeah, let's remove Egypt. Let's talk only about West Africa. No, the Kushites were also there. They were advanced, and they also had their spirituality with them. So the evolutionist idea that you have, that is those people were only evolving. So now we have evolved at this far. We need to drop certain things in order to move forward. That evolutionist idea is wrong, because people's cultural values doesn't necessarily have to be dropped. They have to drop everything in order for them to make progress. That's not how it works. There are many things in your culture that actually go with you throughout your evolution in civilization. And one of them is your spirituality, is your morality, is your cultural worldview. It's very, very important. I put it to you that there are many Black scientists in the world as we speak, many of them, but they have done nothing for the development of Black people. Nothing. Why? They don't even have the orientation to think about Black people plight. So being scientific does not necessarily make you.
They don't got the what? Say
They do not have the orientation.
Let me ask you a question.
Towards their own people.
Fine.
Even if you use Black America as an example,
Fine.
We are a lot of inventors. Does that invention profit your community today? It doesn't. It profits even some other community better than you.
That's
the
horrible.
Issue is,
that's horrible.
What is important?
Why would you say that?
What is important?
Why would you
we are
wait?
talking
Let me,
about
hold on,
the reason is what is helping. You say what's going to help our people. I'm saying there's a body of things that need to help our people. Spirituality is one of them. Science is one of them. Science and spirituality do not have to have war in the lab. That's not what we are arguing. We are saying an individual person, a culture can have spirituality and they can be scientific as well. That's the argument I'm making.
That's not
the
my
evidence is
argument.
there a lot of
Not
evidence.
my argument. Last time I checked, the Catholic Church supported science. I'm just trying to figure out what you're saying here. So you're basically trying to say what? Say cool. I hear your conversation. I hear what you think you're saying. And I'm saying, are you serious? Like, do you study world history for real?
I do. I have not met any atheist kingdom.
What that mean?
It means that you're just making it up. That is needed to
So
fulfill.
I've never said it was there's no such thing on planet Earth. So what does that mean? What does that actually mean in this conversation? If you can go in there and
that you can be spiritual and scientific.
Let me finish. But whoever said what I said was you can't mix the two. And I'm saying Africa is working on that now, bro. You need to understand that. You need to know that. And changing up ain't a bad thing. Because the world that African spirituality started out at 350,000 years, where you find the oldest Homo sapiens sapien, that world ain't this world. And the same things you did back then ain't gonna work now. That's obvious. And the fact that you think that you could take us back to a spiritual system that don't even exist, like there is no such thing as African spirituality, say cool, you made all that up. You're gonna have to prove that there's a thing called African spirituality in this debate. Now, I got you on tape saying it. You had to prove that. I'm saying you made that up, is what I'm saying.
I'll prove it here.
That ain't gonna work. That's the problem. You're gonna bring the problem to the problem to fix the problem. Boy, don't bring that book. Don't bring it.
You guys showed the book. You and Reggie were showing the book. Now you don't want to see the book.
Don't use that book.
You show Civilization and Barbarism. I got you. I have that.
That's one of my favorite books.
Okay. I have that as well. Let's see there where it says, no, you don't need spirituality to make progress.
Yeah, I never said that. You what I said was that you got to know when to hold them, where to fold them. You know what I'm saying? And it just so happened, right, that them Europeans figured out when to hold them, when to fold them. I'm saying we just starting to learn when to hold them, where to fold them. See?
Diop even requested for a creation of a religion. You know that?
Man, what that mean? He one person, yo.
Yeah, he's a scientist.
What religion would that be?
Yeah, that means you can be modern scientist and spiritual.
But he was a Muslim, though.
He was not a Muslim.
You crazy, man.
No, Diop can never be. The moment Diop talk about evolution, he ceased to be a Muslim. You don't know that?
He did what, though?
You cannot mention evolution.
Wait,
and be a Muslim. They kick
him
out.
Hold on, you said what?
I said the moment. Even if you believe you are Muslim, the moment Diop talk of evolution, he ceases to be a Muslim.
Did y'all hear what this man just said?
Yeah. The last time I heard Muslims weren't against evolution.
He just lost a debate.
No, I don't.
Why would you lose a debate like that?
Sure, there is no Muslim scholar in the Islamic Sharia, which is their law that guides their jurisprudence. And they reject. I went on Islamic school. Evolution is rejected point blank. Diop was part of evolution. Diop requested for the creation of ancestral religion of Osiris. So he couldn't have been a Muslim and be requested for the creation of modernization of African spirituality. A Muslim would not request that. What are you saying?
I'm confused because one of the people.
Why do it though, Juju? Why do it? Why do it right here, right now? Why? Like everybody think it through.
It's like saying a Christian is asking for the creation of African spirituality.
I don't remember his name, but he was a Muslim. And
Juju, I know you can hear me say it. The debate ain't happening now.
He was born in a Muslim family. That because all of you here born in a Christian family and you have some name linked to the Bible doesn't make you Christian.
Am I right? Wrong on that. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, am I right though?
No, you're wrong.
Yeah, you're right. Man, now you messing up. You know that man, right?
Because Ank said
that's the only point you got right today.
Ank's name is Bobby.
That's the only part you got right today.
Bobby means Robert. And I can trace Robert to England, Robert Peel, and he asked me to be a Christian. So I'm going to say Ank is a Christian. right?
So say it again. You say atheists are always looking, or the negative. What was that you said again?
Atheism is a belief in the negative.
Don't
Is it
listen, Juju. Don't feed into that.
Let me
I
tell
done
you,
read
Judy,
all the mature.
let me show you the similarity between atheism and religion. If you look
Juju,
at
I done
Anne
read all the
Garwell,
material. Yo, he ain't read none of it. He got to play catch up. He got to play catch
Anne will
up.
behave exactly as a Muslim will behave in a different way.
Man.
A Muslim, if you cannot talk about God, except it has to be from the Quran, it's a dogma. Anne believed that science belonged to him. And believe that if you are not atheist, anything you are saying doesn't make sense to him. It's a dogma, and it has led to the destruction of many nations. And even how they call it's called materialism. It has nothing to do with science, but they try to own science. That's why the Soviet Union was an example to him. They destroyed, they almost caused chaos in the Soviet Union. Stalin was an atheist. Go read about him, what he did. Mao Zedong was an atheist. Go find out what he did. Millions of Chinese that he killed. You don't understand that there is a dogma, and that dogma is as dangerous as religion. It's a belief, but a belief in a negative.
Atheism is a belief in the negative.
Yes.
Check your email, Juju.
I got it.
That'd
God,
be funny. They say cool.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
You're in trouble like everybody else.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's in trouble. Listen, say cool. So you would really want to talk about one of the greatest times in Russia history? You want to talk about one of the greatest times in Chinese history?
USSR.
Is that what you really want to do? Now, then the leadership, they was wow. Whatever they beliefs were, they was wow.
How long
did
did
they turned it around in the moments, though. I'm just saying, bro.
What happened to them? Few years.
What about the Tsar, bro?
How long did the USSR last? How long?
You keep saying that, man, it was democracy. Yo, everybody know who was the president with the bird poop on his head. What was his name?
He said democracy.
Miss Tiff, what's the name?
It was democracy that broke the Soviet
Union.
Union.
Yo, what was the name? Come on, Juju. Everybody, somebody in the chat. What's the Russian president had the poop on his head? Like the poop, the birthmark. What's his name?
Is it Gorbachev?
Yeah. Yeah, you remember when they started to deal with they wanted to deal with democracy, yo? Kind of remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Right. Remember that, yo?
Listening.
Yeah, they kind of broke. Remember that? Remember the Berlin Wall and all that stuff fell down, yo? And then they went back to it, yo. Come on, yo. Like
Gorbachev sat down in the night and he decided to break his entire empire in pieces. That's
God. The African God came and told him.
Oh no, the atheist God
came through.
The atheist, he was an atheist. They were atheists. The Soviet Union doctrine was, but they should have been an example of excellence, Ank. They should have been an example of excellence. What happened to them?
They did good. They did their thing.
They did their thing.
Human beings just fall back into the whole
civilization. I thought that was the best idea of progress.
I never said that.
That's what I'm telling you. If you are asking for our people, what will help them to progress? So that whatever you present had to be tested in history. We have to see where it was experimented and what it produced. You can't just give us a idealistic utopia where we need to go. Gave us a practical example where it was experimented and it worked. And I'm saying all the materialists in Europe, they ended with chaos and destruction and killing. And some of the greatest evil committed compared to religion, they almost overtook religion with the evil. The war that we fought. You know, there were a lot of Darwinists in that war. We will come to that. We will come to that.
Yeah, don't bring that.
Because we will test the theory of progress. The theory of progress. What progress is. Because we are asking what will help Black people progress. So we will test. Because this evolutionist idea is giving the illusion that just 200 years ago, it was because Black people were backward. That's why this happened. People lose war. It happened everywhere. Nations lose war, and other people catch up later. Some kingdoms that were powerful, they are no longer powerful today. It happened to every civilization throughout history. We need science. Absolutely. We always needed science. There was never a moment in African history where you can't find a trace of science. You will find it. Even in the cave of South Africa, I can show you thousands, not even chemists, who will show you where already you have some scientific things going on over there. But they had their spirituality. You cannot come down with your materialist idea and say they need to bury it for them to move forward. On what ground are you
What's the definition of materialism? I dare you pull it up. Prove that's me.
It's materialism.
What that mean? Prove it.
I'm coming to the debate.
So now
every word you use, I can trace them to a materialist.
I've never used the word materialism.
Every word you use.
I've never used that word.
That's why I say, Ankh, you are using thought by proxy.
I never used that word materialism.
It's not your original thought. It's not your original thought. You pick it up and you put black on it and call it black atheism.
So let me get this straight.
Opposition to white.
I want to make sure. Hold on. I want to make sure. Let me throw the first shot.
Why are you calling it black atheism?
Let me go and throw the first shot.
Atheism,
so you in Canada. I just want to get this straight. So you in Canada, chilling, right? With the greatest known spirituality known to mankind in your homeland. Well, you could be learning that. You've been a Muslim all your life, right? Now you ain't a Muslim no more. Now you practice African spirituality. I just want to get this right. If it was so popping, at least some of the things that I think can help my community. At least some of that. See, at least some of that. I'm just trying to figure it out. You need to have that together. Explain to us why, after your whole life, all of a sudden now, late in the game, you didn't know that. Did somebody hide that from you? Did they hide that the African spirituality, which is made up, you made that up. We don't know what the hell African spirituality is. We don't know. We're trying to figure out, say, cool, you said enough times you convince somebody. You're going to convince those who ain't thinking. I couldn't imagine indigenous people on the continent of Africa naming it African spirituality before white people came in and named it Africa. Like, that don't make no sense, say, cool. Now, if you said E5, right? If you start naming different systems, tribal systems, then we have it somewhere. But I dare you run to Africa and say, yo, you practice African spirituality. You can't do that. You cannot go back to your house, go in the bush where they practice that and call it African spirituality without getting ran up out of there. So why you bring it to us? I just want to know. So take that word out your presentation. That's another word you're not going to be able to use. I'm going to sit back. Let me chill. Sit back. Okay. Don't use science. Don't use African spirituality.
You own science. You see the ideology? They think they own science. I always tell you this. It's like the Muslim. They think they own God. You don't talk about Allah, it's our property. Don't talk about Al-Muhammad, we're going to get angry. And things that he owns science. This is the ideology of material. They think that it's their property. And we are telling you, everybody contributed to that thing you are calling science, including spiritual people. It's not your property. Stop calling it, you can talk about science. What are you saying? Now,
saying that has nothing to do with owning it. We have always advocated that science is a human thing. That means everyone, universally. So please.
You just heard him telling me not to use it. Why didn't you stop him?
That's not right. Don't do that.
Did you hear him say I shouldn't talk about science?
You shouldn't, because you're being contradictory.
In what way?
Science is why he says that.
Can you show me one contradiction that I had?
No. I'll let him speak for himself. I'm not going to speak for him.
So say you did. I know that the contradiction. It's not him. You said I made contradiction. So I'm asking you to show that contradiction in my speech.
I'm gonna let him speak for him, but I know that you are.
You blend all African. You blend.
So you can't prove the contradiction. But you are trying to be in solidarity with him, but you cannot prove the
that he owns science, and we, as a whole, a team, not the dictator Bobby and his minions, because that's not how it works. We do not own science. We advocate that science is a human invention. And is universal. Everyone has contributed to scientific innovation universally. I just want to make that clear for you and the audience.
No, I think it should be clear to the atheists, because they are the ones who don't understand that. They think it's their property. So
the atheists do not. And you're speaking for the majority of the people on the panel, excluding Miss Tiffany. So don't say that. And that's why I still have a problem with you speaking on this.
Do you agree that spiritual people contributed to science?
I also agree that the same spiritual people you're speaking on
would spiritual people contribute to science. It's a straight question.
The same spiritual people you're speaking on would hang and murder people who were making scientific.
Yeah. The question is, do you believe spiritual people contributed to science?
I really don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know Imhotep?
Absolutely. Ancient
okay.
Kemet.
Do you know his scientific? Do you know that he?
I'm very aware of Tep Hesed. I'm very aware of correct method.
Huh?
Tep Hesed.
Yeah, Tep Hesed.
Correct method.
That's from the Rin Papyrus. I know the word, but I'm asking, do you know Imhotep?
I'm aware of Imhotep.
Do you know he was a priest and a scientist?
I'm aware.
Okay, so then you agree that spiritual people contributed to science.
Okay.
That's just intellectual honesty. It doesn't demand it. That's why, unless you want to be dogmatic in your atheism, because that it become a religious dogma where you now see truth, but you don't want to admit it is a problem. You have to admit that spiritual people contributed to science. The spirituality did not hinder their scientific idea. It didn't. Where we find that happening, I'm saying, is Europe. And we find out with the religion and the churches. They were trying to meddle with scientific idea and try to put Bible on top of it. We saw it with Galileo and other people and all of that. And they were separated the church from the state. That happened in Europe. But in terms of when we go to the ancient world, do we find that conflict happening where authorities are using spirituality to pursue scientific people? Do you have an example of that? You don't. So at that point, we have to know where the conflict started. The conflict started with religious ideas and extremism. So the only way Ankh wants to do it, he knows that is true. So he wants to put spirituality and science in the same box. And he has to provide history for that. Why was Imhotep a scientist and a priest? Okay, today you said, you cannot do that. No, I said, I can be a nuclear physicist, but I can be a spiritual person. But I'm a nuclear physicist. What's wrong with that? You are saying that cannot happen. So I'm saying then you are creating an ideology that you are saying that science belongs to you. That's the argument.
You're making
black people. Why would black people not progress? Because they are spiritual. Japan is 80% or 89% practice spirituality, and they are one of the G7 nations in the world. I know Ang argued with me the last time he showed a fake source, but I went to the real source and I showed to him 80 to 90% of Japanese follow Shinto spirituality, and they are one of the most advanced people scientifically in the world. Why is that? Why didn't they drop their Shintoism for them to make progress in Japan?
So you equate that with spirituality and not religion?
It is spirituality. Shintoism is not a religion. There is no founder, there's no prophet, there's no book. It is people just finding meaning for their existence. They have their temple. People go there do meditation to their life. It doesn't hinder their scientific research. Japan is a practical example. I'm not making it up. We can Google it. We can check the statistics. How many Japanese subscribe to spirituality? I didn't use the word religion. Spirituality, Shintoism especially. You find out. They will give you the percentage very high. But how many Japanese, how's the Japan economy doing? How are Japanese advancing? They are one of the advanced economy in the world. In fact, they won Nobel Prizes in science. So where are you getting this theory that black people need to drop their spirituality for them to progress? It's a dogma, and that dogma is materialism, and that's what I'm attacking.
Nobody ever said that. Nobody ever
said that.
Black people, no, he didn't. He said separate. Stop misconstruing the argument.
No, I'm arguing with someone, and you are trying to speak for him. The separation, we need to define what our separation means. But that separation means the
Means not
person.
conflate the two. What do you mean?
If the separation means the method of studying scientific investigation, the method of scientific investigation, that was already done. When you look at Teb Asep in the Ring Papyrus, it's already stated there clearly. But when you look at the Shabaka stone, in the Shabaka stone, you find spiritual ideas, you find scientific idea on the same Shabaka stone. So it's not that they mix it up in a way that they are naive. It was an intentional mix to be able to make people who are learning the science to have a spiritual backing and understanding before the science will come in, to avoid self-destruction, which we are moving towards. It was an intentional pedagogy. It was not that they were stupid or that's what Ang thinks. He thinks it was out of backwardness that they were mixing spirituality with science. It was not out of backwardness, it was intentional. And I will prove that in some of the papyrus in Egypt, and we will see it.
Are there any other examples on the continent of Africa besides Egypt that
yes.
to use?
Yes. In fact, most of the things I will bring will be strictly on the continent of Africa as well. Egypt will just be part of it. Egypt is on the continent of Africa. But in terms of West Africa, Central Africa, I will also go into their tradition and see how they explain even social in terms of family. Let me just give one short example, which it's not going to take away anything from my sources. Let's say in the Odu Ifa, they take the compilation of wisdom of the people who practice Ifa spirituality, the Odu Ifa. They have a story in their cosmology. They say that when the creator now sent these deities down to earth, he sent all the deity, and there was Oshun among them. Oshun was the female deity, and the other deities were male. And he told them to go and put the earth in order and set up all the forces that would make life to be conducive on earth. So while the deity were on earth and they were trying to set up everything, they had a misunderstanding with Oshun, and they tell Oshun to go away. So Oshun said, but I'm the only female here. They said, we don't care. You have to leave. And Oshun left. While these male deity were trying to create, they saw all the water on earth started drying up. They started having crisis. So they ran back to the creator and said, look, you give us a job, but while we were doing the job, the water was drying up and there was problem. Then the creator said, but something is missing. They said, yeah. And the creator said, where is Oshun? They said, well, she had a fight with us and we drove her away. He said, that's the problem. The female is missing among you, so you cannot build a perfect society. Now, when an outsider read that story, he thinks he's reading Bible, that these things are literal stories. No, the ancestors used that story to tell you that a society cannot be built without the female involvement. That's essentially what they are trying to do. But it was intentional to use those social ideas in the form of deity. It was what they call pedagogy. It's the way they teach the knowledge. On one hand, it makes you to have the understanding of the life is divine. On the other hand, you get to understand the secular understanding of it, which says that you cannot build a perfect society when the females are not involved. Things will go wrong. And they understand it perfectly, and they apply in their society. But you come now and say, it's all religion. Break that story around and throw it away. You breaking their entire social institution, how they value life, how they value the female in their society. Now they end up with feminism. Now they have to run around and be thinking, how does a man relate with a woman? Then they start to struggle because you destroy the social institution. That's the problem.
Man. Can I say something, yo? I agree with feminism. Do you? Say cool.
What?
I agree with feminism.
What is feminism?
You should look it up before you start talking crazy.
No, I want to know if your definition.
The definition you found on Wikipedia.
You just came up and said, I agree with feminism. So I'm asking you
the definition that you find on any encyclopedia of worth. Do you agree with that? Look at him. He's stuck. Answer the question. Because you made talked a lot of trash.
You don't have a choice. That's the problem. You don't know. You don't have a choice.
No, I'm asking you, but you have a choice.
By proxy.
No, you have a choice though.
Yeah, I
I'm
do have
asking
a
you.
choice.
So I'm asking you, based off your choice
Yes.
and your super duper African newfound spirituality, do you agree with feminism? That's all.
I do not agree with Western feminism.
Oh, now it's Western feminism. I'm just saying
Yes,
feminism.
it's
period.
not the same. There is no global, there's no universal idea for culture. It's a lie.
Why are you saying it then?
I said it because
You was
the
actually promoting. Hold on. Do you realize you actually promoting a global African spirituality idea right now, yo?
No, there's no such thing as the Africans are not looking for Chinese to be converted into African
So
spirituality.
who
It's
they
just
looking to be
African culture.
converted? Just
We are not
African.
saying any Chinese need to practice African spirituality. You don't
So you
find
want-
that anywhere.
so
No
you want-
African will ever say that. The Chinese have their own culture. They should practice it.
I know. So you don't believe the African Americans got their own culture, yo? After 400 years, yo, you don't think we got our own culture? Say cool.
Now you want to use the African American versus African.
No, I'm not.
That is the
Cool.
game of Ankh in this debate.
That's not the game. Come on, Sekou. Every time you come up to a raging stop after running your mouth for 40
You
minutes,
just use the word
then
African
you try to
American.
say,
You
no,
added
I'm
African
saying that
to
African
American.
Americans don't practice generally what you would consider African spirituality. That's all I'm saying.
What do you think the hoodoo that you have in America? What do you think the source is?
It's a mixture of African American, Christianity, Islam, you mixed up,
So
divided
African
on
is
this
in it.
continent. I mean, what
That's
are you
why it's
saying?
called African American. That means they are African. They have African culture, and they're American. And that means they have an experience
so you
in
basically
America.
saying,
So they're Africans.
Hold on. So you basically saying, I'm gonna say this again. Say cool. Maybe you didn't hear me. I've been quiet listening to you. Are you trying to tell us that the African American have not developed a cultural container in the Americas that has allowed them to fight against racism, white supremacy?
That's not a debate.
No, I'm asking a question.
Why are you asking this question?
Because I'm saying we have developed a system of fighting against racism, white supremacy. Is what I'm saying.
So why is that an issue here in this discussion right now?
Because your issue is you're trying to make us practice traditional African spirituality, and I'm saying we have created a system.
But you already practicing it, and a lot of African Americans are practicing.
So part of being an African American is being an atheist. Part of being an African American is being a Muslim. Part of being an African American is being a Christian. We don't separate that.
Atheism. Where is the link to a black culture in atheism?
Right here. I'm the link, nigga. Somebody got started somewhere.
You made it up.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do for you. This is what I'm gonna do.
It's not black culture.
This is what I'm gonna do for you.
You made it up.
I'm gonna bring you some great African atheists. That's what I'm gonna do for you, to show you that you're just wrong.
May I? Really
it's
quick.
like, hey, can I say something?
Nah. Tiffany next, then you can go, Bella.
Just say you are atheist. Just saying you are black atheist. Because if you add black to it, that means you are trying to show a historical connection. There is no historical connection.
All right. Okay. Hey, Gullah, don't get in here giving up the answers, neither.
Who was that
Gullah,
that
don't
left?
do it.
Who was that that just left?
Oh, that was
I ain't give them a cheat sheet.
There's been 3 here talking with me. He's talking about giving answer. I don't know.
Go ahead and ask your question, Mr.
No, I just had this one thing to say. I don't understand why you and people in the chat are calling out Aunt for getting off topic. Like, there's been so many things that you said today that are not even a part of the debate topic. That's just really interesting to me that you brought up, and I don't even want us to have a conversation about it, so I'm not bringing it up so that we can. But you brought up feminism 3 times today, and maybe more, which has nothing to do with the debate. Bobby is talking. He talks about Black American. You're asking why is he bringing that up? That's not part of the debate. That's just weird to me. I don't know why.
It's weird. Can I respond?
Bringing up stuff that's not a part of the debate.
Yeah, can I respond? Because there's context.
Black American stuff.
There's context, though. I was asked a question.
So you don't.
I was responding. No, because it's like you just came in and
no,
you didn't even listen.
I've been actually quiet and listening.
Okay, why? Can you tell me why I used the feminism? Can you tell me the context of what I was saying?
You know what? Say cool.
No, you can't.
It doesn't matter.
Sister,
You're trying
please,
to talk about
can you tell me the context in which I use the feminism?
Western ideas and beliefs and this, that, and the third, and how it's harmful when it comes to Black women. I mean, I heard you say it several times. But my thing is the debate is not about that. You also brought up Bobby's atheism. Atheism is not even a part of the debate. So I just don't understand that. But
Okay.
when he's bringing up other things, you are clear to say, well, that's not even the topic. So I'm just comparing it side by side. Why come you can bring up things that are not specifically about the debate, but when he does, you make it clear that that's not the debate topic.
No, that's not what happened. When I used the word feminism, I was trying to give an example to the sister how the African spiritual institution work, how the mythology are actually used to either explain social ideas, sometimes scientific ideas, sometimes spiritual ideas. So I gave an example of the Ifa story. So when I gave that story from the text, so it's still within the context of the discussion. It was a spiritual text. I cited wisdom book. Then I tried to explain the meaning of that text. That's where I mentioned the social institution and how feminism today could have come in if we don't have our own social institution. It was just, I was explaining within the context of what I was saying. I didn't go outside the debate. I was explaining spiritual idea, but then I mentioned a particular text and how it relates to social institution. You see how I do it? I didn't just jump out of the blue and introduce feminism as a discussion. That's not what happened. I just came in, start talking about connection between African American and Black people. That's, you have to, there was the context.
Okay, Gullah has a question, and then I want to ask a final question, or Gullah has a statement.
Right now I'll go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say, man, it like you could be an atheist and scientifically literate and still separate and recognize like your ethnic traditions. Like we recognize our ethnic traditions as African American. We recognize certain cultural traits that come, that make us African American come from Niger Congo culture. Period. Like we do this shit every day. Like even the pseudoism that we do. You know what I'm saying? But we still can recognize that and still be atheists or scientifically literate. You have Muslims, you have Muslim scientists, you have Jewish scientists that still, they atheists, they you know what I'm saying, and they scientific, but they still recognize their tradition. They separate their traditions from their scientific viewpoints. They just look at that's their ethnic, tradition background, and they respect it. It is what it is. Look, like we still can recognize these as being myths, traditional things, you know what I'm saying? It will have to be fundamental into those traditions.
And my last question I have for you is
don't whoa, Juju, before you ask him, I just want to give everybody a definition of what feminism was, though. So we can just get this straight.
Chat also.
Here you go. It say feminism is a range of social political movements and ideologies that aim to define and establish the political, economic, and personal and social equality of the sexes. Feminism holds a position that societies prioritize the male point of view and that women are treated unjustly in these societies. Efforts to change this include fighting against gender stereotypes and improving educational, professional, and interpersonal opportunities and outcomes for women. So I don't, I'm just trying to feel like, why would any man that has daughters go against that? And any ideology you got is a range of ideologies. So you can bring in the Black African power ideology, you can bring in the super Black, you can bring in the Pan-African ideology, Marcus, you can bring all that in that. Doesn't say it's a rule against it. I reject you not reading definitions. You're doing this the whole time. I'm not going to let you get away with that. So you're against that, the European. Yeah, okay. But so if European women have an ideology, then Black women also can have an ideology. Feminism doesn't guard against that, right? Matter of fact, the work that Martin Luther King did, you know what I'm saying, actually helped get that through to those same evil white people that you talked about. I'm just trying to figure out, how was Martin Luther King able to go to the Supreme Court? Thurgood Marshall, right? There was high-level lawyers, Black people, white people. They went to the Supreme Court and they defeated white people. Now you're going to give me the conspiracy on how they was able to do it. Now you're going to tell me how, well, you're going to say something stupid. I know you are, bro. You watch. That's why I transitioned from just letting you know what feminism was, right? And everybody misunderstanding of the shit. You know what I'm saying? They make it homosexual. They make it white. They make it all these things, right? So, yeah, could have had white people leading it, but you got Black women that could also step up and lead Black women in that movement for equality across the board. So, yes, I'm an advocate right? Because I have daughters. I'm definitely an advocate of, they having an equal thing across the board, just for me, right? And that doesn't mean that they want to be men, doesn't mean that they want to be rough, doesn't mean that they don't want to cook or clean, doesn't mean none of that shit. What it means is, give them their damn just due. So I'm an advocate of that.
Yeah, Sekou, you ain't never seen The Color Purple, bro? Like, you ain't never seen that movie?
So
Man.
my last question is I wanted to speak on the part of what I would call somewhat of African ideological form of feminism, and we call it womanism in particular. And if some people don't know what that is, it's basically feminism, but it's self-defined because, some of us do understand how Black women were somewhat excluded in the atheist movement at some points, but that's up for debate. But so Sekou, as an atheist, I understand, African culture. As you came in, I said Abibi Fahodie to you, and you know what that means, correct?
I don't. It's a Ghanaian word. I don't know what it means.
All right, it means Black liberation. And I also wanted to ask you, so in essence, you're saying that Africans as a whole are spiritual people. Am I correct? Yes or no?
Yes. Well, the argument here is that what you call
I'm just
spirituality.
asking a question.
Can
Just
I
say yes
speak?
or no, please.
No, but
Africans
if
as a
the
whole are
question,
spiritual
if the
people.
question is open-ended, I have to answer in a way that.
Continental Africans as a whole is a spiritual people.
Yeah, I said African culture and tradition contains spirituality, all of them.
Good, thank you. So now I want you to answer why is it that we have certain African cultures who would stuff babies with dirt and bury them because they felt that they were abnormal.
Right.
Is that
So,
moral or spiritual?
yeah. So just like any other culture, there were cults. People build some cult. And when they build cult, just like even atheists have cults, people build cult in societies for various reasons. So
Patrice,
they
why are
have
you
this.
equating this with atheism? You just said atheism was a
No,
cult.
I know. I said atheists can have cult. It's
African
a cult.
culture, African spiritual systems, whatever.
No, the
Let's
African,
explain that.
what you call, that's what I'm trying to explain to you, that there are Africans who, very few, I think, very few culture that had that. They were the cult within the culture that were doing that particularly for their own esoteric reason. It was a cult. That's fine, but it does not explain anything within the African spiritual philosophy. It was just a cult.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you think Africa was like it wasn't a paradise. They were drunkards, they were bad people, they were killers. There are some who did not follow, who did not even cultivate their spirituality. There were some who were human seller, human trafficker. They were humans.
Very good.
All right, can y'all hear me, man? Where you at? Marcus, you want to say something?
Yeah, I had 2 questions for Sekou.
Go ahead, brother.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. My first question, which taps on to what Juju was just saying, was you keep saying African spirituality, but as my research has shown, across the continent of Africa, there is a lot of different forms of African spirituality. So I want you to try to explain which one you're talking about, or if you're just talking about practicing any of the ones that are there.
Okay. So, like you rightly said, there was a lot of them, different traditions, even individually, sometimes it might even differ. But there are a lot of similarities that have been found. Diop wrote about the cultural unity of Africa. So when you look at the various spiritual cultures across Africa, sometimes individuals have their spirituality, first of all, That's what you need to know. Everybody in their family got their spirituality. Then the community, there are certain common grounds they have that they might call also community spirituality. There's sometimes when they form a civilization, it also becomes, but it is something, it begins first of all on an individual level. But some of the commonalities that have been found is what many writers will call the heliocentric. I don't want to talk about it a lot because this is going to come to the debate. So I won't be able to go into depth. But there are similarities among them, and there are well as differences, even individually. My spirituality, could be quite different from my brother who is next door. That's why it's not a religion, because in a religion, then we have to follow a particular dogma that the leader of the religion, the founder, set out. That's not how the spirituality functions. There are individual inner visions about life, about understanding. But in the community level, also there are traditions there are rituals that people come together to do. And those traditions, not necessarily binding. If you like, you go, like even the word they are using, the Ifa and what have you. It wasn't like there was a religion called Ifa in the Yoruba kingdom at the time. That's not how it worked. Individual had their spirituality, and there was community rituals that could be done. If you want to participate, that's fine. So it was mostly about family, keeping family together, our community to be kept together, and as well how society is governed. So similarities are there and differences are there.
So
I just want. Oh, go ahead.
So that brings up a unique situation, because I guess the debate is which one would be better, science or African spirituality. If that be the case, that it has such variation and such a wide range of beliefs and practices, how do you equate that to being more beneficial than the practices of science and development?
All right. So that's a very good question. So the variations, you are looking at variation in terms of contradiction or in terms of conflict. We are looking at those variations in terms of human vision, human looking at things differently, which is very, very much good and is allowed. Science is involved in all of these traditions as well. They are going together. So the argument that I'm making in this debate is not either or. It's not like when we use science, the spirituality have to be dropped, or that when we use spirituality, then science need to be dropped, because that is the mathematics you guys have in your head. It's like once then we are practicing African spirituality, then science is gone. That's false. There's no evidence for it. Even why on the continent where there's various spirituality, there was scientific how do you call it, progress, technological progress. The smelting of iron, when it came, it wasn't Europeans who came to Africa and taught them smelting of iron. They all had their various spirituality, and they developed science within, and they created this smelting of iron. They developed weapon agriculture. They domesticated animals. There was no conflict at all. They were developing with that. So I'm arguing that in this day and age, our spirituality will help us a lot in terms of our social organization, in terms of our well, in many other areas. Because when you want to give solution to our people, you got to diagnose their problem. The only problem we have today is that we don't have science and technology, or we don't have scientific literacy. That's the reason why Black people are not moving forward wherever they found themselves. Is that what you want to believe? That we don't have scientists, or we don't have scientific literacy? That's why we are where we are. I argue in the contrary. We have a lot of scientists. We have them, a lot of them. In fact, there are Malians, Africans that I will show you in NASA who did a lot of things, but they were not using it for the benefit of their own people. So there is an orientation issue. There's a cultural issue. There's an issue of unity. There's an issue of togetherness, solidarity, which being scientific does not necessarily solve that. That's the
Okay,
argument.
hold on. Okay.
Can I say
Now, one thing. This is my last thing. If what you say is true, and according to you also, Africans still practice their African philosophy
I
or
never
the
said
African spirit.
I
Hold
never.
on, hold on.
You are not quoting me. I never said African on the continent are still practicing. I never said that. Everybody know Africa on the continent today were captured during colonialism and slavery. They've abandoned their culture. They are 90% Muslim. There is no president in Africa today who is not Christian or Muslim. None of them follow African spirituality. So don't quote me like that.
Okay, so none of them practice that, but according to you, there's still some progress, or there isn't any progress.
Got him.
Progress in terms of what?
Oh,
There we go. So here's
No.
no.
You guys are not sincere in when you are asking
Oh,
questions.
I am.
You have to phrase the question very clearly. I have to understand it. Stop playing game with questions because you want to get a gotcha moment. Be sincere.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking for.
Yeah, you are
I'm not
looking for a gotcha moment, not a question.
moment.
Ask me a question. What do you mean there's no
to,
progress? Are you referring to the Muslims, Africans, or the African practice spirituality? What do you mean? Make it very clear.
Okay. All right. My last question, and I'm gonna get off the panel.
Yeah, you guys play games, man. I know.
Now we're playing games because you couldn't answer the question right.
No, you didn't answer the question right.
So now he got to answer the way you wanted to answer. Man, that was a good question.
First, he misquoted me. First, I said Africans are practicing their spirituality, which is a lie. Then now he turned around and said, why are they not making progress? Who are they? Are they referring to the Muslim and the Christian on the continent? Or he's saying we that are practicing spirituality? What is he asking?
Okay. So here's
speaking about African and spirituality, though.
Right. I'll ask it in another way to clarify.
Yeah,
what does the progress that you are looking for look like? Is it in health? Is it in finances? What is the progress that you're specifically looking for? That's my question, and I'm gonna get off the chat.
I'll answer you. Progress is the ability to create the material and immaterial condition for your survival. That's what progress is. The ability to create the material and immaterial condition for your survival. You are making progress. When you can't, like we are right now, you don't have sovereignty. Other people, white supremacy rules supreme. They control most of the institute knowledge and everything. Once you cannot produce the material and immaterial condition, you are not progressing. So we can only make progress when we can produce the material and immaterial condition for our survival, like they did in Mali, like they did in ancient Benin, like they did in ancient Kemet. They were producing the material and immaterial condition for their survival.
Hey, can I say something? Peace to the panel.
What's up, bro?
Kanate to my Mandi brother, my Mandinka brother. Peace to you, bro. This is Amir. Ngozi. Yo, Unc, I mean, this debate is gonna be great. Could you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
This debate is gonna be great. I think it's gonna be a powerful debate. But I want to ask my Mandinka brother a question. When Islam came in and the ancient Mandinka venerated Ma or Mangala, did it work?
What do you mean did it work?
So when our Mandinka brothers, even before Kanta Musa, that people call Mansa Musa, before he converted to Islam, or the Mandinka elites converted to Islam in Mali and all through ancient Mali or whatever, did the concepts that they have or that they deal with, did it work when Islam came in?
Okay, yes, it worked. And I'll explain. The founder of Mali Empire, do you know his name?
Sunjata Keita or prior before him?
Sunjata Keita. Good.
That's right.
When Sunjata Keita established the Mali Empire, what was the first thing he did?
What was the first thing that he did? He wasn't a Muslim like some people believe he was. He wasn't a Muslim.
He was not. What was the first? He was a Muslim who would know from the first thing he will do. So what was the first thing he did?
I don't know. Put me on, my brother.
I'll help you. He created what they call Kurukan Fuga, the first constitution.
Yes,
he created a human rights document, a constitution to be able to run the state.
Correct.
Okay,
Mandinka
did not need
constitution.
Islam.
Absolutely.
There was no Quran quoted there. There was nothing.
Right.
It was the tradition. He divided the society into professionals, okay, the teachers, the farmers, and everything, and then he created laws, human rights laws, and then
Correct.
established it for the governor of the society. That's progress. That's why I said to produce
Oh,
the
they didn't have one
material
before then,
and
yo.
immaterial condition for your survival.
Say
Listen
cool.
to
They
my
didn't have
word.
one before then.
So
Now
Sekou,
they don't
Sekou,
listen. They don't
Say-
listen. Can I end? Can I
Go ahead, go
end?
ahead.
Yeah,
Go
land
ahead,
that.
Sekou.
Yeah.
Yeah, land that. Say cool.
So when Islam came in, okay,
Mhm.
Islam came not directly to Mali Empire. Islam came to Ouagadougou.
Yes, Wagadu through trade.
Ouagadougou.
With
Ouagadougou
the trade.
falls.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Ouagadougou falls, and other kingdom, Splinter King Mali came out of it. So they got converted already in Ouagadougou, but some people
Uh-huh.
now were trying to convert the elite. So Islam came with war, and they were more militarily equipped, and they won the war. That's what happened.
Oh, there you go.
It
They
came
were
with
more.
trade. It came with trade.
Hold
Yeah.
on, Gullah. Hold on, Gullah. Hold on. He
They
just
were
said it.
militarily
Hold on,
equipped, and they
hold on.
won the war.
Hey, hold on, Gullah. My brother Sekou, you just said it. They were more
Yes.
militarily equipped, and
That's
they won
true.
the war. But we want to give the audience the truth. A lot of Mandinka or Pula or Fulani were not forced into Islam. A lot of these people converted on their own, and they abandoned a lot of the older customs that
If
they
you
had.
attack an empire, what are you doing in the name of Islam?
Hey, say cool. When they converted, a lot of the indigenous people who already converted, they was the ones who was conquering themselves.
When the Hammurabi came into Ouagadougou Empire, what were they looking for?
But listen, Sekou, I wanted to say this. A lot of Islamic jihads, because I don't give Arabs credit for everything. I'm gonna talk about Africa right now. But
There
a
were
lot
so
of
many
Islamic
jihads on the continent.
Hold on, listen. A lot of the jihads that they had in the Sehou was done by indigenous blacks, whether they were Fulani or Mandinka, and they did
Does
it to
that
their own
matter?
group of
Isn't
people.
it jihad?
Yeah. But this is what I'm trying to say though. But you said something that was key. You talked about the military war. They were more technical advanced, and that's why they did what they did.
Yeah, if you're more
technical
criminal and you are
So,
very good in fighting and you win a war,
yeah,
doesn't
so
make you
Sekou,
make your victim, doesn't make you better than your
Say
victim.
cool. You cutting off? Come on, say cool.
Sekou,
Let the
listen.
man
This is
talk,
what I'm
brother.
saying. A lot of the older customs that we practice as humans, I don't know what the idea of African spirituality is. This is why this is going to be a great debate. The oldest animistic systems that these people had in venerating nature or the processes of life is what was actually old human customs that comes out of Africa, whatever. But the thing is that a lot of that stuff, spirituality in the sense of how we deal with it, is subjective. It doesn't benefit you when it comes to needing or wanting to have science, technology, engineering, and math. That's the key. You need science, technology, engineering, and math. No. What I'm saying, that's because spirituality is subjective. You could be an atheist if you got the proper scientific, if you have the proper science, technology, engineering, math, you're gonna stand out. You could be a Muslim if you follow regiments of science, technology, engineering, and math. You're gonna win. Spirituality is subjective. It doesn't matter what you believe. I mean, hell, if we want to base it off that, Jesus Christ, when the people came in with that, slaughtered the people in Cameroon and in Ifa and Yoruba, Oludumare, Shango, Abatala, none of that stuff worked compared to Christianity when they came in. If you want to base it off this concept of subjective spirituality, but we know that that's not the key. It's the military weaponry and the technicality.
I don't understand
the technicality of what you just said. You know.
Wait, brother.
Go ahead.
Can I ask you? Can I?
No.
I don't
Hold on.
understand your logic.
1 minute. Say cool.
I don't
Say cool.
understand your
Relax.
logic.
Say cool. Relax for a minute. Say cool. Relax for a minute.
People
cool,
who
relax.
are spiritual
Say cool.
are never
Relax.
defeated in war?
Say cool. Relax, brother. Hold on for a minute, man. Let me put this document up right here, man. So this is Nigeria. This is
These
Africa.
guys for real?
Yeah, I'm not. Come on,
And
man.
say cool. And say cool. I'm a Muslim too. Before
You
go ahead.
got to
Go
talk.
ahead,
Oh.
No, come on for a minute. Say cool. Listen. So this document right here is Women for Women International, right? This is Nigeria. It says for Nigerian women and girls, patriarchal norms, rampant violence, and poverty are obstacles they encounter in their daily lives. Based off what you saying, Africa don't have these types of problems now. You basically trying to say that African spirituality would cure. I'm talking.
Who are you quoting?
But I'm talking though, bro. Have some decorum. I haven't overtalked. Everybody know I'm gonna cut off all this. I've been very decorum today, right? So I'm simply bringing the document to show you that you're wrong. It say through solidarity, this our work in Nigeria. They had to create a whole program the women did. It say through solidarity and opportunities provided through our program, marginalized Nigerian women are bolstering their confidence and skills to face the gender inequality and transform their lives, families, and communities, brother. I'm saying these sisters ain't waiting on y'all to do their thing. They ain't waiting on traditional African spirituality. I'll bet if we could interview women back in the Stone Age, they would cuss you out. I'm trying to tell you, bro, that women are waking the hell up. They're not trying to hear all that African spirituality, how just it was. That's not true. Those patriotic systems, bro, is in effect, bro. And for you to think you're going, I'm gonna take it off the table right now. I don't even want you coming into this damn debate talking about Africa was matrilineal. Shut up. Dios was wrong. Knock it off. I'm gonna beat the brake. Here's a threat. I'm gonna threaten you. If you come in there,
you are just talking, bro. You can't do nothing.
I'm talking though.
You've done. You finished reading. I want to counter what you just said.
But what I'm doing, I'm talking. I'm not cutting you off. Everybody can clearly see it. Guess what? They can see that I haven't cut you off. I've let you run your mouth. And every now and then I jump out and smack the shit out you with some reason because you just backed off, right? My point I want to make here is that in Africa, they have the same problems that all humanity have had. Checks and balances is always at play. So you're not going to be able to come in the debate and convince me otherwise. They've had the same problems from 350,000 BCE to 2023, bro. That's not it never was a time in Africa where the shit was smooth sailing. Because if it was, Europeans wouldn't be able to come in, right, and gain the help of other African nations to help conquer their quote-unquote brothers. Obviously, people didn't see other countries as being their brother. That's something you see. That's an idea that you have. As a matter of fact, that's an African-American idea that you have. I'm telling you that it was different states, right? Different clans, different groups, right? They had different understanding of the ecology, the ecosystem. They had different means of trade and course, and it was fundamentally the same thing as it always is, man. If you can control the trade, right, and the proper resources, you can have a flourishing tribe or a flourishing nation. And if another group get in the way and aren't willing to negotiate it out, we're going to fight. That's what human beings been doing from the beginning of time. I'm going to actually show that, say cool. So this mystical, crazy African spiritual system that you talking about, it has never existed, say cool. You're going to lie to the people, make them think it has, but in reality, it never existed. You just talked about a great African leader, right? And talked about the things he did. Maybe we need to dig into what he actually did. But what you talked about, he just developed the Constitution. I think you said that. You mean to tell me African spirituality ain't give them a Constitution before him? See, you playing, say cool. You being very funny and you overemphasizing points. Hold on, I've been very quiet, right? I ain't cut you off. Shout out to the 500 people in the building, man. Look, man, it's time. I think we're having a great discussion. Hit the daggone Cash App, man. Y'all can't say I cut Say Cool off. I let him rock his thing. Hey, Say Cool, you're a powerful, powerful speaker. I would actually say you got continental, Canadian, Brooklyn magic. I like the way you do it, GT.
Look,
hey, hold on. Relax. Let G Lacan get in. Just relax.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
No,
hold on.
We don't gotta respond. We got time. We got a whole 3 rounds to fight.
We having a debate and we are preparing towards the debate. So if he says something, I need to counter it before I lose my thoughts. Let me counter it. I won't be long. Just a minute. Let me counter it.
Let him go.
Yeah.
Say cool. So I'm gonna give you 20 seconds right now.
He showed you a group of Muslim.
Man, you bulldozing.
He showed you a group of Muslim women.
They Muslim women now.
Come on, man. Get that man a chance to respond, bro.
I'm getting that nigga out here quick. Thunder out of here immediately.
No, he's right. You can't.
He's out of here. Did this nigga just come up here? Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Y'all serious? Wait a minute. Y'all trying to tell me I ain't giving Say Cool a chance to talk? If one in the chat, if I ain't giving Say Cool a chance to talk as much as he want to talk, get a 1. Now put a 2 in there if I've been cutting this nigga off for the last 3 hours. Let me see how honest y'all. Y'all know y'all hate. Put a 1 in the chat.
All night.
If I've been cutting Sehou off, put a 2 in the chat if I've been letting that man talk. Thunder, you're lying, Thunder. I'm not even listening to you, Thunder, because you get me upset with the lie. Let that man talk. That man been talking for at least 2 hours.
Okay. So I'll go back to my discussion.
Yeah, I'm still putting you on the clock, though, because now I'm frustrated now. Now I'm tired of hearing you now.
So
I've reached my limit of Sehou talk.
He shared an NGO website and doesn't even know how NGO function. First of all, he put on an NGO website, and the NGO, they are selling their products because the NGO looking for funding. Wait, Unc. NGO, I have NGO, by the way. They are looking for funding. So on their website, they put it there how patriarchy is in northern Nigeria and women in poverty are not working, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But he's showing most of those women wearing hijab. But in that same society in northern Nigeria, let's go back 15th century. Who was the ruler and the elite? A woman, Queen Amina of Zazzau. She was the ruler. You can have a patriarchy society.
Who was a Muslim?
Wait.
Who was a Muslim?
Wait. In a patriarchal society,
Allah Akbar.
Here you have a woman was ruling, and this time Islam was already coming in new, but the tradition was still there. African spirituality was still in the system. So they still have Diab wrote about this, by the way. The entire northern Nigeria was matrilineal. Women were in power, women were in business, women were in ruling class. And here you have a lady, 15th century, was ruling the Hausa land. Today, the Hausa land is patriarchy because of Islam. So you don't make the distinction. That's the problem with it.
Good point. Good point. Good point.
Oh, yeah.
They got the brakes beat off them.
I know.
Yeah, he did. Hey, Sehou. Let me yo, you from Liberia like me? You're Liberian?
Yes, I'm Liberian.
But your accent, where you didn't grow up in Liberia, did you? Where your accent come from?
Well, my accent is mixed because I've been in Nigeria for some time.
Okay, that's a Nigerian accent. Okay.
Yes, I did travel a lot.
Yeah, that's not a Liberian. That's not a Liberian accent you got.
I do have some Liberian accent, then it's mixed with some Nigerian accent, then it's mixed because I've been traveling around West Africa a lot.
Okay. Now you made a comment.
It's my continent.
5 months ago.
So West Africa is
your continent. I thought it was our continent.
Yeah, it's our continent. When I said mine, you and I are the same.
Okay.
I don't see you different unless you see yourself.
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, hey, so are you saying how long you been in Liberia though? When the last time you been in Liberia?
I go to Liberia every year. Sometimes it take 2 years before I go back. But the last time I left there was in 2019 before the COVID stuff.
All right. So my question is, you on that one show with Sinetta, you say that the indigenous spiritual practice of certain Liberians, you saying they are being threatened by the Christians and the Muslim Liberians. Are you gonna stand by that?
I've never used the word exactly the way you said it.
Then you say that. Then you say the indigenous practice African in Liberia, the Liberian. You say and you right. You say that they are being threatened by Christianity and Islam. Are you talking
all over Africa?
No, I'm talking about just like I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Liberia.
Liberia, it was even worse in the 1800, 1900, 2000. They were literally persecuted. The poor in Sunday society, yes.
No, I'm talking about modern day time, 20, 30 years ago. Are you saying they're being threatened?
Yeah, they have been isolated, of course, yes.
They've
been isolated.
That's not true, homie. Stop that.
By the African Americans.
Stop that, nigga.
So it's not true. That's
okay. Nah, nigga, don't be lying on here. Maybe in Nigeria. I can't speak for Nigeria. Don't say Liberia. Don't do that.
Okay. One question to show the evidence. How much does the government invest in Christian Muslim institution, and how much do they invest in?
I'm talking about the everyday
zero.
I'm saying that everyday people don't disrespect no. Quit that. You know you lying. Quit lying.
Okay. Second
You
one.
lying.
Second. I'm giving you instances. How does the Christian and the Muslim in Liberia, how do they refer to the African traditional masquerade? What word do they use?
You said what word they use?
Yeah, if you are from Liberia, you know the masquerade?
No.
You don't know them. You are not from Liberia. You
He's
don't
not
know
from
the
no damn
masquerade?
Liberia. That nigga lying.
You say I'm not.
You are a liar. You don't know the masquerade in Liberia. You are not from
We
Liberia.
ain't bringing that. Hold on for a minute. We
Hold
ain't
on,
bringing that
hold on.
energy today.
Hold on.
This ain't Garfield where you bully
Hold
the whole
on.
panel and act crazy and get me to
What
cussing and
language-
fussing and get
what
me
language
acting
do you
crazy. I'm
speak
doing
in
good
Liberia?
today.
You said what language do I speak?
They're going.
Yes.
They made me shut up. I can't do it no more. When you know what I mean, we got things in place now where I can't act crazy. So I got to get you out of here if you start that. 'Cause I can't. They got the muzzle on me now. I got
both
to be quiet.
both my parents are Liberians, right? What
indigenous language do you speak from Liberia?
No, I don't speak any. I'm part crew. I'm part crew.
That nigga ain't
And I'm
Liberian.
part, hold on, shut up, man.
man.
I'm part
Okay, you are crew?
and I got my dingo, and I also got my grandmother on my father's side from the Mende tribe.
Okay, do you know the masquerade tradition in Liberia?
I can't say I do. I ain't gonna. No, I don't.
No, you are not Liberian.
No, but you
no
saying
Liberian listen to my voice.
No,
no
time out.
Liberian
You
listening
saying,
to my voice.
hold on,
We can tell me they don't know about Liberian masquerade.
But first of all, let's be honest. Do majority of the people in Liberia speak English?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so my mother and her brothers and sister who was born in Liberia, they can't speak no dialect. They speak only
that's
English.
Possible.
That's true, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But my father can speak. There's 16 tribes in Liberia, right?
Yeah, but Ali, you should understand the cultural norms there. So the masquerade is very important.
But I was
you don't
raised
know
in this nigga. I was raised in this country right here in America.
Okay, so then you don't know it.
Nah, but I've been there.
But Liberia has African Americans there, though. America is African Americans.
He probably got
a lot of Liberians is
ancestors from
African Americans.
I know, but if you live in America and I ask you about hip hop and you don't know, then you are not American.
First of all, nah.
It doesn't matter whether you're American, Chinese, or Indian. But if I ask you about American hip hop and you say I don't know, you are not from America.
Hey, say cool. Say cool. Hey, say cool. Say cool. It's a Mandinka though, bro. You Mandinka, bro. I repatriated. Hold on. I repatriated back with Mandinka. Mandinka people don't want to kumbaya with all the ethnic groups in Africa. Like
that's a lie. Liberian Mandingo.
With every we don't from a
the Bambara people. The Bambara people are an extension of.
We can't hear you, Amir.
They have masquerades as well. What are you saying?
And the women the Mandingo women run the market in Liberia.
Let's scrap all of that. I was talking about the masquerade. The reason why I wanted to bring you home is because the masquerade are very dear to the African traditionally, but the Christian and Muslim refer to it as the devil. That's an attack socially. You attack another people's culture and call their holy emblem devil. So that's persecution right there.
So what they call the devil in Liberia? What they call the devil?
They use English word, the devil.
Nah, they call it what? What they call it?
I just told you. What are you saying?
No, they call it Gina. Gina.
No, Gina is not devil. Gina means spirit.
Man, come on, B. Gina, get out of here. Man.
Gina, there is no indigenous word for devil.
So the Gina, when they said the Gina,
Gina is in Arabic. By the way, it's Jinn. It's from the word Jinn. It's incorporated. It doesn't mean devil. It's from Madingo. It just means spirit. It's from Arabic. Thank you.
Yeah, in Arabic, a jinn is a demon. It's an evil demon.
Spirit. No, there are jinn that are Muslims. You don't know that?
Yeah, hold on.
Man, you guys, I think you guys overlook me. You don't know how much I know, right?
Man, we know what a Jenna is. Come on, yo. You ain't gonna fake us with that one.
Yeah,
nobody say
African.
I know what I know.
Spirituality. That's an oxymoron, yo. But you got different systems in Africa. Like you just one system.
That's what I'm saying. Say cool. For you to be Mandinka, and I repatriated back with Mandinka. You got more of an African American, Pan-African mindset because Mandinka ain't trying to kumbaya with everybody, yo. Wallahi, they not. They ain't on that.
Mandingo got stupid people. They got intelligent people. They got
no, they ain't got no stupid.
Now the stupid people. Let me get this straight. The stupid people in Africa, they celebrate. Let me get the stupid people in Africa.
Stupid people
They don't
in America,
think
there
like
are
you.
wise people in
The
Canada, there are
intelligent,
stupid
wise
people
people in
Canada.
Africa think like you. So now you got stupid people in Africa now, huh? Now you just call the African people
Hey,
stupid.
yo,
Boy, I tell you,
There are
they
stupid
don't think
people
like Sehou. They
everywhere in the
stupid.
world,
If they
and
think
there are
like
wise people.
Hey, he
Can I
got,
have
he
the
got,
floor,
boy,
the,
you
he got the
funny,
post.
man.
And they are not
He got
human.
That's funny,
the
yo.
post
Hey,
ideology.
Now we got you. Now hold on.
hey,
Hey,
Sehou, hold
Sehou.
on, Sehou.
We finally hold on. We finally got Sehou to say it. If you ain't think like him, you're definitely stupid in Africa. Boy, I tell you. Appreciate you. Got the
The
sound.
white
bite.
man, I think Hank always rejoices in this type
Can I
of
have?
thing.
Hey, I got him on
Can I
purpose,
have the
dog.
floor, please?
He in here punt. You
I
speech
just
drunk.
told you.
Let
And
thunder.
I'm an
Let thunder
African. I
talk.
speak in parables. You guys don't
Oh,
hear
now
me
you
when I
spoke in
talk.
person. What is it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When I
Yo,
say
give
that I
us
speak
the underlying mystery of
there are
stupid
wise
people in
people,
Africa. Go
it
ahead.
means there
Go
are
ahead.
humans with different ideas and thinking.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, whenever I call you stupid, I'm just saying you got different ideas. That African person.
Can I have the floor, please?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
you
ahead.
can talk for a minute. What's up?
All right. Sehou, listen, man, I ain't never been a fan of you at all. Based on what you've been doing the Garfield in your early days. I think about last year sometime. So I kind of got caught up into the tribal crap, right? And I was like, man, I ain't even in no Dagger Squad, so I let that go. I got to give credit where credit is due. My brother, you've done a 100%. I take that back. You've done about. I give you an A on your showing today. You should be proud of yourself. You should get some cash. I give you cash app. I don't know your cash app here, but give me your cash app. I put $10 in there for you, bro. And I'm gonna say like this. You got Juju off you. You got Tiffany off you. You got he punch drunk over there a little bit. I think you did. You got Gila Khan out of there. You struggle with Gullah a little bit. And you also I think you split between with you and Gozy. I give you the split on that. So I'm gonna give you an A, man. And I can't. When is this? I ain't even heard about it till today. But
let's go get a damn ticket. Do that. Don't talk crazy.
Hold on, nigga.
I'm gonna make sure you in that building.
What do you mean,
Hold
nigga?
on,
This
nigga.
is our show.
Hold
You can go
on,
back
hold
in the
on.
chat.
Let me-
And you
let
can
me
bring
finish.
in the
Let me-
chat.
Hold on, Gila Khan. I didn't cut him off.
You better
yelling.
pay
I didn't cut
while
him
you're
off.
driving before you wreck out. That's what you better do.
Let him talk. He has been waiting patiently.
Hey,
now.
Juju.
Put your eyes
Hey,
on that.
Juju. All right, now listen. So we got
Put your eyes
don't
on
forget
that.
don't forget I was the one I was at your when you had the young lady, the young lady from Yale or Harvard, wherever she from. I was there, nigga. Don't get it twisted. No, you talking about some ad now? You know what? No, you need to show. This is what I'm saying.
And you showed your ass. And you showed your ass in front of that lady. Ladies and gentlemen, he was at the event and showed his ass. Like he was on YouTube or something. Don't make me remember that. Don't make me remember it.
I'm going to support you in any and every way I can, my brother. I'm going to support you. I don't care if I wanted to or not. I'm going to support you.
Appreciate you.
But to Juju, I don't listen. I love you. You know you my sister, and I ain't got no problem with you. I thank you for looking at me for driving, but I'm not driving. I'm parked.
Driving. Put your eyes on the wheel. Put your hands on the wheel.
Look, nigga, I'm parked, nigga. I'm parked.
We don't believe you. The car's still moving, nigga.
Nah, listen. So, Sehou, what you got? You got some? What's up? Well, some feedback from me, brother.
No.
Oh,
so you
sorry.
right. Sehou is winning. Hold on. I want to talk though. This is my show. I like to talk sometime. You're right.
Crazy.
Coming from a wild ass Christian, I think you would pick a side because you're a wild Christian. You ain't a regular Christian. You're a wild. You're a Christian. Don't even go to church. Don't go to church. Don't read the Bible.
I do go to church.
On an atheist show, banging with Garfield. Garfield bangs on the Bible. You never protect the Bible. You're a wild Christian. Go ahead, Sehou.
I don't know, man. I see this whole thing for me. This debate is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
For
'cause it's
me,
fun.
the question that I'm looking at, how our people going to make progress. So the challenges that we have historically and the challenges we have today, we will have to put it out there. And we have to see whether spirituality and science going together can help us progress or not. I argue that in the positive, it will always help us. It will always be useful to use both of them. And you will disagree. The only thing you're going to be used is scientific invention. This person invented this. It's not going to destroy my thesis, because I will show you millions and thousands of people who were both spiritual and scientific. I will show you civilizations that were both scientific and spiritual. So there is no example for Black atheism. For me, the reason why I'm coming against atheism, the reason I'm coming against Black atheism, they say it's not part of the debate. It's part of the debate. Why? Because science itself came from a humble beginning where everybody contributed to it. The split between science and spirituality happened in Europe. And it was the European atheist materialists who did the separation. So Ankh is doing what we call a thought by proxy, where you just take people's idea and you paint it black. So he picked atheism from the white man and he make it Black atheism. But Black atheism has no root in in his African American cultural history. He can show that.
Okay, I'm about to sign off. Hey, one more question.
Intellectual means relating to
one more question. So, let me ask you this.
All right, go ahead.
Can and then this is my last question. You got 10 people, so I'm gonna sign off. Let somebody else get on. But can science solve everything? Is science a key to everything?
Absolutely.
Or does spirituality have a no? Does all right? Does spiritual all right? Can science fill the gap that spirituality that would be there if spirituality was taken away?
Yeah, because I live a lovely life and don't believe in none of that shit. So obviously, but I couldn't live the life without no science. I'd be in trouble. Appreciate you, Thunder Man. Holla at you, man. You my man, yo. It's all good, bro. All right. Let me bring this dude up.
All right, I'll be leaving now.
Hold on, we got a chatty in the
nowhere.
patty. Hold on. We got Dan Kofa. Am I saying your name right, brother?
Yes, you're saying my name correctly. I just had a quick question.
Hard in that chat, boy.
Yeah, I got a quick question.
Sir? Yeah,
I got a quick question. My question is, how can science exist without spirituality? How can it exist without one another? Doesn't it take one another for them, either one of them, to be able to exist? That's my question.
My question is,
does that make sense?
Yeah, I heard you. I'm talking.
No, he's asked a question.
I want to hear an answer from both of you guys, honestly.
Okay.
All right. So since you're gonna be long with it and wear us out, right? I'm saying science can exist. Science actually stands on its own. It doesn't need spirituality to exist at all. Just so happen that human beings are spooky. Just so happen that religion co-opted things that already happen naturally in human beings. But science don't need African spirituality to be science. It stands on its own. Simple as that. And I think that's important for our people to kind of grasp that idea. Say, cool, tell you that we the most spiritual on planet Earth and have been the most spiritual since the dawn of time. He'll tell you that. So we not, okay, Europeans are the most spiritual, say cool. I'm quiet. Right. Yeah, European. I'm saying Europeans, Russians, they the most spiritual on planet Earth. There you go.
Well,
there you have it.
I think the Europeans impress you, but they do not impress me. Are they the most spiritual or not? Yeah, here's the issue. The brother, your question, I will tell you that.
Okay, right, don't answer that. That's the next question for sake.
We do need spirituality and science. It's from an African point of view.
Need both.
The reason is, oh my God, the human condition is on very different layers. There are three fundamental questions of human life. or they call it the question of the babies or children. That is, who am I? Where do I come from? And what do I need to do, or where do I go after here? So when a human have this question in their mind, whether they pretend or not. So the science, what the science try to answer, and it has done so very successfully, is to find practical solution. To find solution to practical problem, okay, around us in the environment. But science does not answer the eternal questions of life.
So
I'm coming. The eternal questions of life, which is very important to the human.
What would that be?
To human life is important to human existence, because the question comes naturally. It's not a human make up spiritual thinking. It comes naturally from the heart. So spiritual answers are things that help humans on this planet Earth on very many different things we are going to discuss in the debate. But the material aspect of life, studying nature and the laws of nature, science does to some level answer some of those questions. But still, science has not even struck the surface of those things. So science can never give you all the answer to life. That's a lie. Anybody who says that,
all right, man,
he's not even a scientist. Many things science does not know.
Answer all those questions. Science even answer the question of that feel good feeling you feel you practice those practices. Science can break that down.
Hey, cool. Can I ask you a question?
Science don't know. It doesn't know. It's like you think science doesn't know.
It's all a chemical. It's all a chemical reaction. It's all a chemical in a neurochemical reaction.
Sekou, can I ask you a question?
That's not an answer to question. Yeah.
What according to your spirituality, what do you believe we come from?
Wow. So I don't deal with belief. So
crazy.
Yeah.
So African spirituality not a belief?
No. That's where you get it wrong.
You
where do we come from?
Drunk now. Y'all hear this, man? So in African spirituality, hold on. So in African spirituality, they don't believe nothing.
Yeah. So let me give you the answer.
No, say cool. Hold on.
No, he asked me a question. Can I answer him?
No, hell no. You about to step in the ring and act like black people don't. Africans and Egyptians. Egyptians got the most. They the most stuck out niggas on planet Earth back in BC times.
So let me
answer.
You
serious right now?
Where did we come from? Now, in spirituality,
ladies and gentlemen, you hear this man? Now I'm doing my cutoff thing. Did this man just try to convince us, those who can read and write, that Egyptians didn't have no beliefs?
Okay,
Africans don't got no beliefs.
Let me
pull up some of their beliefs. Let me see. Now you got to make me dig into the crate. Now I'm digging into. Go ahead, say cool.
Don't let
you ask a question. Where do we come from? You don't want me to answer.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, like I told you, spirituality is based on seeking, understanding, and human having internal vision about giving meaning to their life. And one of the philosophical positions of African spirituality is that there is only one being, that we all are just a mutation of the one. That everything is related to everything, whether we see it or we don't see it. Whether it's visible or invisible, everything is related to everything. So in nature, there's only one being, and we are all a mutation of that one. And the origin of that one is unknown. That's why it's divine.
What?
There's only one being.
Hold on. Can I say something?
Say cool. Say cool. Say cool.
Say
cool. They're gonna say
cool. Yeah. Say cool. That's New Ages. Because back then,
Shabaka Stone. It's on the Shabaka Stone. That's New Age.
Say cool.
Shabaka Stone.
Say cool. Let me just say something.
No, wait. Do you know the Shabaka Stone?
And Gozi never.
Do you know the Shabaka Stone?
Yes. But I'm asking. No.
Yeah, man.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
And
we went through Shabaka Stone for years.
We know him too. Now what?
But you call it New Age, and I give you a reference.
Say cool. Listen to me, bro. This is what I'm trying to say, bro. Listen, I got a belief. But we're not going to go there. No, listen. I want to disregard my belief right now. I want to talk about science. When you use terms like mutation, right, to explain being connected to the idea of one, mutations, that's scientific standard in time that we live in. They did not use terminology like mutation 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago. So when you insert the understanding of what mutations are, right, into the idea of spirituality, that becomes New Age-ish, because you just mix old customs.
You
That's
made
what
that
I
up.
mean. No.
That's why I ask you. The way you are asking question is like you are
Go ahead.
lecturing.
Go
me.
Go
You
ahead,
are
buddy.
asking question about you. This is not lecturing instead of asking question. Here
Are
is the
you
deal.
sure you say cool?
If
You
you
done
go,
did a 2.5 hour lecture just now.
Really?
yeah, because I'm not asking
I
question.
can't believe you.
I'm not speaking about
trying to
this
say
guy.
he
I'm
was
not talking
lecturing?
about you, Ank.
What?
I'm speaking to this
Say
brother.
cool, you the
So
top-notch speaker,
He
yo.
said
You got the
mutation is
Brooklyn Magic,
scientific,
the
so it
traditional
cannot be
African,
spiritual.
and the
Can I
Canadian
answer
thing
him?
going and all in one thing, yo. You a top-notch jitterbug, bro.
This is
Ain't no way you
this
gonna
is
just say that.
directly on the Shabaka stone. You can find it
Oh
where
man.
it says
Man.
everything came out of the one. It's not. It's in the day. Are you
Oh,
rejecting?
man.
Are you saying the Shabaka stone is
I'm
made
saying
up?
it's a belief, yo.
No, is the Shabaka stone real or
I
not?
don't know. It's a real belief on it.
It's
It's
a
religious.
concept. Yeah.
You gotta
So,
stop
yeah, that's
that,
what
yo.
I'm saying. That's why I said philosophy. I said the philosophical concept of African
Okay.
spirituality is that there is only one being, and we are all. I don't use the word mutation as English.
What?
We are just an emanation of the one.
Oh,
Everything came
man,
from
you
one
tripping.
thing.
So
If
I
everything,
want to get this straight. So you saying all systems of traditional people on the continent of Africa got one thing, one being? Is that what you're trying to convince us of right now?
all
Get it
the
right,
traditional
nigga.
African spirituality, you will find that there is only one source of existence of all.
In
Yes.
all of them, right?
All
So
of
you know you got two absolutes there. Let me write the absolutes down, because whenever a nigga say
every
something absolute, they
existence
absolutely
came
are
from
wrong.
one.
Say cool. Are
man.
you saying that spirit and science are basically two sides of the same coin?
Exactly.
Every human religion around the world have a supreme being or some type of supreme one in a religion. Like it ain't just African.
So you are using Christianity and Islamic concept to explain African spirituality. That's where you have problem.
What
So
I'm
because-
hearing is that
Because when you use the word supreme being now, then you are using the word supernatural. Then you
All right,
have
we
started
got you.
using concept.
It's supernatural, bro.
Let
me get to this man.
The reason why I use mostly the Egyptian spirit, because that's
I hear
what
you,
have
bro.
text. We can
I
show
got
the
you.
text. You
I got
find all the so-called deity you are saying, all the principles, they came out
got
of
you.
one thing.
Nobody
out of
says
one.
that. We got you.
So
No.
that's what spirituality, everything is related to everything. I believe
right, we
I'm
got
related
you.
to water.
All right, let's
I'm
come on.
related
Say
to the
cool. You
trees.
rocking.
I'm
We want to
related
get
to
to Stan
everything.
Kofa real quick.
That's
Hold on.
why in
Come
spirituality,
on, man.
they
You
do not
cannot
believe
go on
in
for
death.
35 minutes a clip.
They
We
believe
hear
in
you.
immortality because everything is related to everything.
Okay, man. Good
That's
one.
the concept.
Hey, Stan Kofa, where you at?
what's up with it? What's up, Aunt?
How you doing, brother?
Peace.
Where you at
I
in this
think I need to
conversation?
leave so that you can end up there. I need to leave now.
All right, yeah, go ahead. Appreciate you, yo. You did your thing, yo. You told us everything you ever known about the one God is in Africa. Just spread through Africa
You can
through
only
these
make
teachers,
it
yo.
up, but if
Appreciate
you take my
you, yo.
own words,
Hey, say cool.
Thank God, if not for
Say
Egypt,
cool.
them niggas wouldn't have had no spiritual system
What's
there,
up,
boy.
Sam?
Hell
Say
no.
cool. You did that, man. That was pretty simple, man. Say cool. He did that. Yeah. I
Hey,
mean,
San
I don't
Kofa, can I
understand
ask you a
what.
question? Hey, say Kofa, can I ask you a quick
Go
question?
ahead.
Are vaccines safe and effective?
Did you win? Did you win?
I don't know. I'm not a scientist,
No,
brother,
I'm
so
asking
I'm not
you.
gonna answer
I'm
that.
asking a question. It's
I
called a
don't,
litmus test
and
with
I'm
you.
telling you, I don't know. I'm not a
Answer.
scientist. I'm not sitting in
Okay,
there
He's not a
I'm
testing the
asking you a
vaccine.
question. Hey, say cool. Did Dr. Sebi get murdered because of his high-level medical science?
I don't know what degree that
I'm
they
not
say
talking
we
to
have.
you. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to this man. I just want to get a litmus test on this guy. You want to answer the question?
You ask
Every
a question
time
to
I
who?
hear a little pseudo, I gotta ask the litmus test to make sure I know who I'm talking to. You gonna answer that question or not? Let me go to the next question. Did the Twin Towers, right, get knocked down by the United States government?
Come on, man. Don't do that, huh?
Yeah, it's possible. What are you saying?
Come on.
You ain't gonna answer the question?
Well, you gotta
done. Say cool. Say cool. Did the United States government knock down the Twin Towers, sir? I want to make sure I know who I'm debating.
So you are asking me for
I'm asking you a question.
I say it's possible, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay. Are vaccines safe and effective for African people abroad?
That's a tricky question.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, am I going
answer?
into the ring? That's a trick question.
Yeah, it's a tricky
Yeah,
question. Why?
It depends on the person.
I ain't talking to
Exactly.
you. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to say, cool.
I believe pizza is nice, but if my enemy gave me pizza, I wouldn't want to eat it.
Real talk.
Did the Europeans kill Dr. Sebi because of his high level indigenous medical science?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know.
But you know about the Twin Towers and you know about the vaccines.
I just told you it's possible they could do it because we know about this declassified document. It's from false flag.
That's fine.
It's possible.
Pro-vaccine.
Hey, that's fine. Hey,
vaccine
say cool. You good?
It's like pizza. Pizza is nice, but if my enemy gave me pizza, I want to be careful.
They say cool. You answer the questions. Then get your ass off the panel with that bullshit. Get your happy ass off the panel with that. How about that? Let the doorknob hit you with Jesus Christ split you.
Yeah, when they use vaccine and sterilize Ethiopians. No, stop running. When they use vaccine and sterilize Ethiopians, women in Israel, did you fight? Did you fight for them?
We know what we're gonna do. We're gonna wait for you.
No, did you fight for them?
You gotta answer that question though. He asked you a question.
When they use
vaccine. Did Jesus Christ bring vaccine?
Now you gotta answer the question.
No,
you can't answer the question.
I don't know that to be the truth. So really, I never acquiesced to a faulty premise.
Right now.
Come on, dog. Come on, G-La. The nigga can say anything. I supposed to acquiesce to that. I want to see the source first. Hold on.
Let's fact check it.
I just
want.
want.
You use Wikipedia a lot. Let's fact check it.
Okay, go ahead, pull it up. I'm here. We here today.
Oh, that beautiful vein.
We here. We want to see that. I knew you was there. I knew it. I said, yo, let me ask him the litmus test here. Let me see. So you talking about science and don't understand science. You talking about African indigenous social cultural systems don't know shit about them. You in trouble, say cool. You better learn something, yo. You in trouble now. Man, you want us to practice African spirituality is the best thing. You want us to practice that. Really? You want us to do that. As if we're not African Americans in the system we practice. Anything we practicing is gonna be part of us at the end of the day, there, Mr. Say cool. That's how my chat.
Shoot, vaccination itself comes from African traditions.
Right, I ain't listening to him. He wild out. He gonna give me some Ethiopians. like what group of white people went on ahead and sterilized Ethiopia? You wild out. Then they sterilized them. I'm waiting. Come on, hurry up. Little fingers going. We waiting on you. We just wanted to make sure you was anti-science. Anti-science.
Sekou, I'm still waiting for you to apologize.
Say cool. By the way, you mean to tell me the high level Ethiopia don't got their own vaccine for their own country? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
That's not a question, though.
What do you mean they got their own spirituality? They super duper spirituality. You mean they couldn't figure out a vaccine? Didn't they invent science?
What, Ethiopia?
Yeah, I thought Ethiopia invented. I thought they should have it, right?
Ethiopia.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So maybe human beings, right, should read literature of all people, right? And maybe human beings transfer ideas all the time, and maybe he trying to get us stuck in some nonsense. Last time I checked, humans are always better off, when they have intervention, or not intervention, when they have correspondence with other people. We say, cool want to do is put everybody on the damn island and watch y'all die. Go ahead, with it. Put it in the back right here. We're going to read it together.
Don't worry, Unc.
And we got a special guest on here, Mr. Truth. How you doing, Mr. Truth?
Hey, what's up, bro? Give me 1 second.
All right, bro, take your time. Put it in the back. Ethiopia and white people sterilizing them.
Okay, this is coming from Forbes.
I know. Can you put it in the thing though? Put it in the back check too. Come on. Say.
Can't you see it?
I want to see. I want to read it though.
Yes, I just first of all, are you seeing it on the ground?
We can see
Israel,
it. Come on, yo, you know how to operate
Forbes. Yes. So Israel forcibly inject African immigrant with birth control report claims. So that's the title.
I know. Can you put it in the back so we can read it?
It's not in Ethiopia, though. That's in Israel.
That's what he said.
Yeah, they were immigrants.
Yeah, but you said it was in Ethiopia. You didn't say it was in Israel. You said it was in Ethiopia.
No, he did say
No,
Israel.
I said Ethiopians, Jews. They were Ethiopians who immigrated to Israel
Yeah, he did
as
say that.
Jews.
Fine. Okay. Can you put it in the back
So
we can read it?
I just shared it. Are you not seeing it?
You don't know how to put it in the back?
I don't trust you. Put it in the back right here so I can read it while you're making up something
I
about
don't know what you mean by putting it in the back because I just
It's right
shared
here.
it.
You're right. It's called private chat. Can you read that? Copy and paste.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Right click.
Okay, I got that one. All right.
This man can't even copy.
13,000 Ethiopian Jews. Let me just copy.
That's fine. Ethiopian traditional or African practitioners, yo. Put it in the back. Don't copy it. No,
now
no.
he's making it up.
No, copy and paste the link, yo. Not the document.
No, the link.
The link.
Oh, the link. Okay.
You just playing crazy now.
That's the African science.
Yeah, that's the African science right there, yo.
Right there.
You know they invented the internet. Why you at it?
All
Why you ain't
these
tell us that
games
they
you
invented
guys
the
are
internet?
playing, it's not working with me. That's what you don't know. It doesn't work with me.
You gotta copy and paste. And why you showing Donald Trump? You up there showing Donald Trump?
I don't
Y'all
struggle.
see Sehou just show Donald Trump.
He got to summon it to the chat.
Hey, cool. I got your back, baby.
No, I don't.
Yeah, we
Nobody
see
got
icon.
There you go. He put it in the back.
Okay, I put it in the private chat.
Hey, is that King Cluck? Look at that right there, yo. Hey, son, that's King Cluck.
That's me.
No, it ain't. That's King Cluck. Look at the mask. It look like King Cluck.
No, if you look closer, you look
it's
at
in the chat now. It's in the chat. Can we do? I have to go. I just
look
need
at
to
that
get
close and then look at me.
Right, King Cluck.
All right, and you King Coconut.
Did you design that?
Yeah, I did.
That's hard. That's hard, body.
Oh, hell no.
Hey, Ankh, you mind if I ask that cool question before he leaves?
Yeah, go ahead and ask that question.
So I share the link. So it says some 13,000 Ethiopians.
Next.
Most of them Jewish.
It's 130,000 Ethiopians. Most of them Jewish live in Israel. Go ahead. Go ahead, read. We listen.
The community experienced higher poverty, unemployment, blah, 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 than the rest of the country.
What the hell is
Jewish
blah, blah,
population.
blah, yo?
Because
the higher poverty
because
and
they are
unemployment
not
rate.
essential. So in the past decade, the birth rate among the Ethiopian Israeli has declined by at least 20%. The advocacy groups now claim the decline is the result of a birth control regimen forced upon the Ethiopian immigrants women. Okay, according to an article in Harzeh, an Israeli news source, one Ethiopian immigrant said the doctors who injected her claimed that the people who frequently give birth suffer. So they were using games, okay? They first of all lie to the patients, then they create all these reasons, they put fear in them, because there's a pattern.
We don't see that on is that on that paper somewhere? Yo, can you stick to the document, sir?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying you. That's a strategy. They create the fear, first of all.
I know we don't see that on the document.
People who frequently give birth suffer. That's what the doctors tell them.
Okay.
Why it is possible is highly unlikely that doctors genuinely had the women's health in mind when they forcibly injected them with contraceptives. They said the doctor did not know. Can you imagine that?
There's no excuse for depriving women solving over their
why is
own
unlikely that the
reproductive
doctor
choices.
genuinely had the health of the women in mind when they forcibly injected them with contraceptive? There is no excuse for depriving women of sovereignty over their own reproductive choices. Look, you can read the entire article. This is now a hidden news. I don't know why you think I made it up. They injected them.
That was population control.
Yeah.
They did
So,
that.
All right, my
so
turn.
if I go to hospital now and I'm scared of injection, doesn't it mean I'm anti-science? No, I'm just scared of the people who are doing it.
Right,
And that's
my turn
so,
now.
he
Don't nobody say, don't nobody say
That's a
nothing.
good point.
Don't nobody say nothing. I'm
Go
a
ahead,
great
Unc.
listener, and I was the guy to ask the question. The
Okay,
question
I'm
was,
leaving now, Unc.
is
We will see
vaccine?
again.
All right, brother. You good. You can't
Hey,
defend
be
yourself.
good,
I got you. I'm
Sehou.
gonna talk shit about
So
you.
what's
when
your
you leave,
counteract,
Sehou.
Aunt? Tell me your counteract.